Let me say, how's it look? No?
Show off the...
I know. They can't see my face, though.
Oh, okay.
Can you see 2026 or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Too small or it's fine?
No, it looks good, baby. Let me see your ears. Very handsome.
Good evening, Caneswear friends and family, and Miami Hurricane fans, Gio. I think about 99% of the people here, Gio, are Miami Hurricane fans. I'm going to take a shot. You think that's about accurate? 99%? We usually have about, I'd say 999%, if that makes any more sense. 9,000%. We every once in a while get a straggler that is not a Hurricane fan, and we welcome them, Gio. A lot of programs don't welcome them. We welcome people that are either in the business that may just want to be watching our show, maybe want to comment or so. And that's the great thing about the Caneswear Live TV podcast is we are live, Gio. Did you know that?
Yeah, we're live.
We are live, Gio. So we are taking comments. We are taking questions. It's live. Now we know we have a lot of people on there. Some agree, some disagree. The fans are having their own conversations while we're on the show talking about whatever. We're talking to them. We're talking to everybody out there in the YouTube Caneswear universe. And it is just an exciting day. It is Tuesday, May 5th. Yesterday was May 4th. I really didn't hear anybody talking about was that yesterday supposed to be May the 4th be with you? I didn't hear it much yesterday for some reason.
Yeah, the whole Star Wars thing.
Star Wars thing. Well, being a Canes fan, we feel like the Force is with us because I can't tell you how many people are texting me every single day. Brett, I'm excited. Brett, I'm excited about this year. I can't wait for this year. I have never in many years, okay, I shouldn't say never, but it's been a long time because we used to take it for granted when I was younger. The Canes are great. But now everybody is pumped. We're pumped. Is this offense going to be better than last year's offense? Is this defense going to be better than last year's defense? Everybody's excited. Even last year, the question was Mario. Hopefully, Mario doesn't mess it up. I think 99% of the people, maybe outside of Howard Stern, are in the Mario bandwagon right now. All right. So Hassan has gone ahead and shown us, even when we were down on Mario after SMU, that you know what? Mario is the guy. He did a great job coaching last year, coming back after that SMU game. We are pumped. It is just a great day to be a Canes fan. Gio, remember, this is the Caneswear Live podcast, Caneswear TV. Also, like and subscribe. We know we have quite a few people watching this program. We're going to be basically doing this on the Caneswear Live YouTube now, correct? More. So please, if you're on Who Wants Smoke, if you're on, you'll be able to see it on Twitter and on the Caneswear. So please like and subscribe. We've got a lot of great things going. We're trying to get that algorithm going. We got former players and a bunch of other things happening. So exciting time. Sponsored by Caneswear, Gio, the spot. Canes and Miami Fan Shop. And right now, a lot of new cool stuff in there. We are pumped. Yes, the new stuff is coming in July and August. And any questions, throw them out there. So without any further ado, here's Gio!
I'm liking the energy today, Brett. Look, fun times ahead. It's May 5th right now. Like you said, we passed May the 4th. May the Force be with you. Stormtroopers, Miami Hurricanes, they're south. So some reference there for the Miami Hurricanes. However, plenty of stuff going on with the program. Very tough series ending over the weekend for the baseball program. A lot of things up in the air there. Daniel Cuvée has been out and whatnot. Tough stretch it's been for the Canes baseball program. However, if you're a Canes football fan, quite the roller coaster ride the past week has been. If you follow recruiting closely, if you've seen Mario Cristobal's recent public comments about the team, about some questions he was asked about out-of-conference opponents, like specifically the SEC. I actually agree with plenty of Mario's takes on what he shared in light of all that. And, hey, you know what? He said, too, which this goes hand in hand with the team's mentality this entire offseason. You know, they've always been saying positive anger, channeling positive anger from coming up just short of winning it all, and feeling that as energy for this team this offseason, to not get complacent, to not be happy that they just got there, but to actually win the whole dang thing. And hey, like Mario said, the 2026 Miami Hurricanes, they haven't won word for word shit. It's basically what Mario said. They haven't won shit yet. Look, you know, maybe some people like it, maybe some people don't, but I actually appreciate the honesty and transparency there from Coach Cristobal. And I think fans should be happy about that. If you're an old school fan, you're probably smiling from ear to ear after Mario's comments when he said that, because there's no complacency within the program. It's not, hey, you know, we made the national championship. It's no, hey, yeah, we got there, but we lost, so we didn't do anything. That's the sentiment in the building. So I think that's important that they continue to carry that and channel that going forward. However, the other thing I'll mention, like what Mario said about out of conference, and specifically he was asked about the SEC, if there truly is a gap anymore or whatnot. And Mario flat out said he doesn't believe there's a gap between the conference like the SEC compared to Big Ten or the ACC. And I think he's definitely got a point. You know, it's funny enough, if everyone watched me on Comics on Canes with Michael Yo earlier this afternoon, very good friend of ours and of the program here, I said it, that I agree with Mario's take on that, because look at who the last two national champions, Big Ten teams. You have Miami, who's an ACC team, right in the national championship. I know Clemson hasn't been the same in some recent years here, but even they won a national championship. They competed for some as well. So I think that sentiment that a lot of people generally like to push out there about the SEC bias, yeah, it's crazy in itself to think about, because the last SEC team to really show dominance, Brett, we're talking about 4 years ago, the Georgia Bulldogs. Yeah, they had that stretch of, 21 and 22. However, since then, they haven't won a playoff game at all. So
exactly,
do I think the ACC is as deep, like from top to bottom, as like the SEC? No. But I do think the top teams in the ACC, like the absolute like top 2 to 3 teams, can compete with the entire SEC. And that was proven last year. Miami went 5-0 against the SEC. So this whole thing that SEC is the absolute best conference, I'm in the same boat with Mario, that there's no longer so much of a gap anymore.
And you're hearing all the national pundits saying that Miami is as much as an SEC team. We're not. I mean, they're not looking at us like an ACC team of many. Not that. I mean, the ACC teams have won national championships. Obviously, Florida State won one a few years back. Clemson obviously won a couple. Was it 2 or 3 that Clemson won? 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. And but Miami is just a powerful physical team where, like you said, the last 5 games against the SEC we beat. I mean, the SEC is definitely, if the SEC does not have a good year this year as compared to the other conferences, we need to just, like a tsunami, sweep that whole discussion away because things have changed. NIL, some people like it, some people don't. But the transfer portal, some people like it, some people don't. But it has definitely leveled the playing field. It's no longer just Alabama, LSU, Georgia getting the benefit of the president of the NCAA looking after them. Right now, it is an even playing field. And despite the fact they get all this money from TV, they're not showing it right now on the field.
Yeah, right on point. The playoff success hasn't exactly been there for the SEC compared to, you look at the Nick Saban Alabama dynasty. Even that 2019 LSU team, at least if you have to go back to when Georgia won their last national championship.
Mhm.
The SEC teams, they haven't shown up. They haven't shown up in the postseason the last couple of years here. And look, perfect example, even outside of this most recent playoff that Miami made the run in. But the prior year, you had a Big Ten team and an independent going head to head. You had Ohio State and Notre Dame going up against each other for the national championship the year prior. So, look, it's funny enough that many of these kids or even national analysts will say, oh, no, the SEC, the big bad SEC, but it doesn't seem like they're light years ahead anymore. If anything, yeah, that gap has absolutely been closed. I think Mario's right on the mark with his comments that he said. Love what he said about the team. Do I think he's correct in what he said, that that's the mentality in the building? Yeah. There's definitely been a mentality in that building. You could see it throughout spring that guys are not just satisfied with the results of last year. You see guys like Malachi Toney coming off the season he just had. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. And he's still retained that explosiveness. And I know everyone's talking about the photos that came out where he was with DJ Khaled and Jeremiah Smith and DJ Lagway. And the craziest thing is, like, I don't even know what DJ Lagway was doing in those photos. Like, it just kind of seems like one guy completely out of place with the photo. However, I will say this. I think it's like quite ironic, that photo, because this is not taking Jeremiah Smith down pegs or anything like that or the sort, but Malachi Toney also recently had a local camp for young children. And you see like the excitement that is within this city for that kid. I mean, and I shouldn't necessarily say kid because he's legally an adult. Malachi's 18 years old now, but he's just so young, and the buzz that is around him and how the city feels about him. Look, Brett, I think it's fair to say, is Malachi Toney already a local legend? I believe so. I believe just off of that 1 year, all it took was just 1 year, the season he had, and getting to the national championship. He's a legend in the community. I think
absolutely
he is a pillar going forward that Miami fans will look back on and say, man, like, he's the one that he made it really cool for guys to stay here, or guys like Ruben Bain did too. But I think especially Malachi Toney, from just an influential standpoint, you go to almost any park, and it's funny enough, I'll say this. I actually took my children to the pool within the community a few weeks back, right? And there was this family there, and one of the younger kids, he played football, and I think he plays for PPO Bengals, Pembroke Pines Optimist Bengals. And we were just talking and everything about football, and I was talking with his father and his grandfather and everything. It just so happened they're like, oh, you cover football and everything, so we were talking about it. And I had asked the child, I said, oh, do you know who Malachi Toney is? And he said, Malachi Toney, you know Malachi Toney? Like, he just his reaction, it's just so genuine. Brad, there's nothing like it. I've never seen a player have that type of influence in Miami, just socially and just community-wise, in a long time. I think the closest thing you could say was maybe Duke Johnson, but I think Malachi Toney's influence is even bigger.
No, definitely Malachi, and I don't think it's just NIL and all that stuff. I mean, because Duke could have had camps. Restrepo had a great following of kids. He had camps. A lot of players did, but nothing like what I saw. That all those kids just following him like the Pied Piper, waiting for him like it was a concert. It was just amazing how many people. He was there. It was just a phenomenal experience. I mean, we had a signing once with Braxton Berrios right after he just, right when you can have signings then, when he was about to leave Miami. He finished his last game, and the crowd was down the block. It was amazing. You had women of all ages there, like it was a rock star. And that was after obviously the great season in 2017. I'm pretty sure that was after 17, beating Notre Dame in that year, where he had he did the handcuffs. He had the punt return against Florida State, and that. So he was a hero. But Malachi right now, while it's in college, nobody that I can recall has been this big. And you're right. Going back to Jeremiah Smith. I know you go through Ohio, you go through a mall, and there's thousands of kids. But let's face it. I mean, and my wife is from Ohio. Okay, what is there to do in Ohio? I know. I mean, it is the only. It's right. You're right there in Columbus. I mean, we're in a town with major league franchise right here. We have all the major franchises. The Dolphins, while they may not be that good, Florida Panthers have won back-to-back. Messi and Inter Miami, the Miami Heat have won championships, and yes, the Marlins are here too. But this is there's a lot of things to do here in South Florida. You can go to the beach, you can do anything, and to see the excitement pouring out in the kids, it was just phenomenal. So I think you got to look at Jeremiah Smith, and he's got to say in the back of his mind, boy, I could have been that guy. I could have had that attention. Because obviously he's a local kid. I could have had that attention. And I don't blame him for staying at OSU for all 3 years. But he had a chance to come here. He didn't. He won a national championship, which is great for him. But will he look back and say, hey, look what Mally had that I didn't with the local kids? So we shall see. But no matter what, you can't knock his career, Jeremiah. But at the same time, Malachi, you can never have that amount of stardom. We see all the guys on the sidelines. We see the Michael Irvins. Cam Ward is there now. You see all the great players, Lamar Thomas, that are there on the sidelines. They get together, Ray Lewis at the camps and everything like that. You're home. That is such a great feeling that nothing can reproduce that for these players and the local kids. And that's a beautiful thing. You play at another school, it's just not the same. I mean, at least for South Florida fans.
No, it's not. There's nothing like doing it for your hometown.
What are you eating, Gio? What are you having now? Tell us.
Some tacos. We had a late dinner today. There's a few things.
Right. You know what they say, Gio? If you're gonna have and you can eat, you got to share with the whole class. Right, so everybody here should get a free taco from Gio. All right, next time everybody in town, we'll have to have a taco party. All right, so
I'll tell you what. You know what's interesting about today, Brett? Because it is Cinco de Mayo.
True.
And it's also a Tuesday. So it's a Taco Tuesday.
Oh, on Cinco de Mayo. When I said May the Fourth be with you, and I didn't even think about Cinco. I mean, it's strange. Another one. I have not heard as many people talking about it this year as have been talking about it. It's just like things are hush hush. It's all about the U right now. Nothing else is going on in this world if you're a Hurricane fan. It's all about the U. So it's a great time, like we said, to be a Hurricane fan. Malachi and team, it's going to be exciting as can be. People are asking, are you getting Malachi in? Are you getting Fletcher in? Yes, we are working on signings, and a little bit trickier with everything going on with the NIL. Used to be when the kids would graduate or they'd play the last game, we'd get them all in. Now it's a little different because they can sign all the time, and we are working on that. A lot of exciting things happening at the store. We are working on signings for sure. Gio, you still eating?
No, I'm good right now. I took a break. But I realized it too because I saw something pop up in the news this morning, and it was mentioned. It was like, oh yeah, it just so happens to be that this is a Cinco de Mayo that literally follows on a Tuesday this go around. I'm like, wow, I thought about that this morning, and then I had tacos this evening now. I got to tell my wife afterwards because she passed them over to me. But just quite ironic in itself that it is. However, sticking on track here, though, yes, Malachi Tony's influence, incredible in itself. I love where the program is headed. I know some people, they have their certain gripes. I get it. The fans that complain like, when is the quarterback coach going to happen thing or whatever, or people asking the Hayden Lowe stuff. Even though I know some people have asked the question already in here, I could see comments following through. I'll just outright say this. I have gotten feedback on the Hayden Lowe thing. I can't go into full detail. However, the question everyone's been asking, is he going to be the team? Is he not going to be with the team? The feedback that I've gotten is there's a good chance that he does play for Miami this year.
All right. I like to hear that.
I can't go any further than that. We'll see as things continue to progress along. And honestly, I think it's the best situation for both sides because even if he were to want to leave or if things are not exactly on the best terms, at this time of the year, there's really no benefit to do so, like to leave. You basically
Can't
you
go
lose
anywhere.
the entire year. He got hurt last year already. So you basically lose 2 entire years, no game tape, nothing. Yeah. Look, as long as things continue fine on that end, the expectation is that should be with the program this fall. So we shall see.
Yeah, last year we talked about JoJo Trader all year.
Yeah.
And is JoJo going to play? We talked about it in the preseason. We talked about it before. During this is JoJo in the doghouse. There was more questions on JoJo than any other player. And well, and JoJo, you know, and I wish him all the best that he has a great career, great kid, and everything like that. But you know, it was a non-factor last season. Now, granted, JoJo was 100%. The JoJo we thought he was going to be. Who knows? We could be national champions. You never know what would have happened. But the Malachi story overshadowed that big time. The running game we had. So this year there's a lot of excitement. Obviously, at wide receiver, our big three, I would say, is Mally, of course, Cooper Barkate, number 2, and Josh Moore.
Joshua Moore, with the spring that he had.
And then we've got the other one. So we're very solid. I think a wide receiver, I don't know what's our best position, wide receiver or running back. It's a close one. I'm curious everybody's opinion on that.
I think it's very close.
Where are we the deepest? Where would be the most athletic?
I think it's very close between the two, but if I had to say on a national scale, this is my opinion. I think Miami has the best running back room in the entire country. Pound for pound, they have the best running back room in the entire country.
We have 4 solid backs this year, maybe more, but 4 solid
and
backs.
The reason why I say it is even the numbers back it up. That entire group, they have almost 5,000 yards collectively throughout their career so far, and close to like 50 touchdowns. And that's just talking about like the 4 main guys. This is not including like Javian Mallory, who had a really good spring just getting here, had a phenomenal spring game. Chris Wheatley-Humphrey, who's continued to improve in the program himself. And hey, you know, Jordan Lyle, he had the injury-riddled year last year, but the production even amongst that group that I was talking about, that was from his first year when he was healthy. So, yeah, just the numbers do back it up too, though. That's what I believe. I do think Miami has the best running back room in the country. Now, when it comes to receiver, it could be debated. I do think, though, that if Miami's not the best receiver room in the country, they have to at least be top 3. They have to be, because you're talking about having 2 guys in that room this year that are 2 of the 3 most productive receivers returning to Power 4 football this season. Number 1 was Jeremiah Smith. Right after him was Malachi Toney. And then Cooper Barkate. In terms of yardage, that's how the production was for Power 4 receivers returning to college football this year. So, hey, I don't think that's bad at all, having 2 of the 3. And then everyone that knows about the potential that Joshua Moore has. So I think Miami's offense is going to be definitely very, very exciting.
We came into last year with so many questions. We came in with the question of Beck. Would he come back well from the injury? How could he throw? And there were, most of it was up. There were some downs. His arm wasn't 100% healed probably. He's still first pick in the 3rd round. I mean, he's in the top 75 players drafted. He could even start this year for Arizona. Which would be amazing. He could be. It's been a while. I mean, Cam Ward before that, how many quarterbacks started, and Carson Beck could be the starter when the season starts or right after. I don't think the competition is that deep. He's got Brissett and somebody else over there. I forgot his name. But last year we came with a lot of. This year, I believe we have the best quarterback in the country. I really do believe we have the best quarterback in the country. I looked at the odds for number one draft pick. Darian Mensah is 20-1. I had mentioned on the show I had Cam Ward at 16-1, and then 12-1 to be the number one pick, and he was. And I look at some of the guys that we were after that we wanted really badly. They're 50-1. So it's like, and there's a couple of guys ahead of him, but I think Darian Mensah could easily be the number one pick in the draft. And I think with his long ball, with this team, with the running game, and with the passing game, I think he's going to be awesome. His scrambling ability, you said before, he throws a deep ball you think is good or better than Cam Ward?
Better than Cam Ward in terms of the deep ball, yeah.
So that's pretty amazing to say that.
So, there was no quarterback that took more deep shots
than
Darian Mensah last year. He had 86 attempts.
Wow. 86. How many did Carson Beck take, I wonder? 25? 30? Pretty high, I thought.
I'd have to take a look at that number, but it wasn't exactly the same. So
86 attempts, what is that? Over 30 yards?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty spectacular. And this year he's got guys that can go, and he's got running backs. So I have to believe our skills and our offense is a little better than Duke's was and Manny Diaz last year.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely more weapons.
So it's going to be very exciting to see. So before we jump to the comments, remember, like and subscribe. We will be on the Caneswear TV network or the Caneswear podcast soon. So please like and subscribe. Another thing, we are putting out shorts there. You've seen I put out a few shorts, Gio, with different players. Benny Blades visiting the store a couple of times. Willis McGahee visiting the store. Brian McKinney. If you guys have a short or a video that you think is worthy to be on the YouTube, our Caneswear YouTube podcast, please send it to us. And we will go ahead and if we like it, we'll put it on there and we'll mention your name and everything in the short if you want to be mentioned. So if you have some good videos, I know our guy Kane Jones always likes to do things like that. And I'm looking forward to having seen some more of his. But anyone, if you have a good video that you want, Gio can even, if you don't have captions, Gio's can caption it. We can run it through with our super duper special editor, and we can put it on there, and you can be even if you're in it, you can be on our YouTube channel, which is going to be, I'm going to make a prediction, the biggest. I don't want to be like some people. It's going to be the biggest and the most fantastic and the most dynamic YouTube channel. So we're excited about it. So we are live, as we know. We're, as far as I know, not too many podcasts are live. Not only questions and comments, but give us your videos. And we can't put everyone on. But we will go ahead, and if we pick yours, here's what I'm going to do, Joe. If we pick yours to be on, I'm going to give you a $10 Caneswear gift card. Free. So,
nice.
So if you put five of them on, you're going to get $50. All right. So get us your best, your best shorts. What are they like? How many seconds you normally, Gio? 20, 30, 45?
About 20 to 30 seconds. Yeah.
20 to 30 seconds. Get them on there, and anyone we pick, we'll give you a $10. Make sure to join the Caneswear rewards, so it's easy for me to put it in there. And I'm going to go ahead and give a Caneswear $10 reward card for each one that we put up. Just some of the, and we're not going to be mentioning that anywhere but on the YouTube channel. Another reason to be a Caneswear YouTube subscriber. So start those, bring them to us, and a lot of other fun things planned. Gio, ready to go to questions or your comments, or are you still need another bite?
Just about, actually. So two things I'll mention. I want to actually bring this up to you because you mentioned like with Mensah and the NFL draft. And Michael Yo was the one who asked me this question because someone had brought up a column on it earlier this month about Darian Mensah, and because this next quarterback draft class looks very strong on the surface, like before the season starting. We all know how that could all work out. Just Cade Klubnik, who I was never a fan of, it ended up transpiring. And, Drew Allard didn't really transpire last year. So obviously so much that could happen between now and then when the season arrives and then when it ends. But in the off chance that Darian Mensah doesn't get projected as a first-round draft pick, because one of the smallest little nitpicks, I think he's got plenty enough arm strength at quarterback, but one of the small nitpicks on Darian Mensah that's been that, if you look at draft analysts' thoughts on him, is that, we wish he had a little more zip on the ball. We wish there was a little more arm strength and whatnot. But, guys can improve with that just naturally through strength and conditioning. It could absolutely improve. Let's say if that scenario plays out, if somehow Darian Mensah doesn't become a first-round draft pick, which I think would be crazy, because I think if Miami lives up to the ability that this offense has with, like, between Mensah and being able to be explosive and the running back room, all that mixed together, I don't see how the guy does not end up a first-round draft pick between all that mixture together. But let's say the off chance he doesn't. Brett, do you think that there could be a chance that Miami could have 2 years from Darian Mensah?
I was speaking to a former player the other day, and he thought he says Mensah could definitely be back, especially nowadays. NIL, you're going to make, what are you going to get? Who knows? $5 million, endorsements, all this other stuff. If you're not going to be a first-round pick, I mean, even if you're a late first round, if you're a first-rounder, you got to go. The problem is you don't know, and that's the difficult thing. Beck could have gone late first round this year. He could have gone, and he won first pick in the third. You never know. Look at Quinn Ewers, a quarterback of the Dolphins. He could have gone. A lot of people thought, he would have gone higher. He went in the 6th round, and it would have been money-wise better for him to stay. So nobody knows where their position is going to be. Nobody knows who's going to be starting in the NFL. Look at Brock Purdy starting in the NFL as Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, look how much money he's making compared to the guys that were, drafted in the 1st round and things like that. And, some of them have panned out, some of them haven't. So in the NFL, it's a whole different ballgame. It doesn't matter how good you were in college. It doesn't matter if you've got a lot, if you're in the right system. In Brock Purdy, it's the right system. So that's awfully key. You just never know. So we'll see if he's back. I know we have a couple of young guys. We have another guy coming in. If he does come back, it's going to be, I think the program is. I want him. I mean, it'd be great. I want him to win a national championship and then leave. Okay, not that I don't want him back, but I like when guys win championship and then go on, or get us somewhere, or change the program like Cam Ward did. But Cam was out.
I take this stance on it. When Mike asked me that question the other week, I said, honestly, like, if somehow, some way he doesn't get a 1st-round draft grade back, he should absolutely come back. Yeah, why not? Like, with that group, and the majority of that nucleus would be back as well, because a good portion of the playmakers are underclassmen. He'd have most of that group back for another year. It sounds like a video game in theory, like, oh man, that would be crazy to have him back another year. It's so far away. We'd really have to see how everything plays out.
Correct. Yeah, we have to. There's a lot to be said. A lot can happen in a year. I know everybody's expecting us to be in the playoffs, to win the ACC outright, to pretty much rest our starters at halftime. Well, that's me. But it's anything can happen. So amazing. One last thing before we comment. The talk today that I've seen, 24 teams in the playoffs.
Yes.
That is crazy. Now, 24 teams, if you're not, now we wouldn't have gotten the playoffs for many years, so still. But 24 teams, I know the first 8 teams are going to get a bye. And then the next 16 are going to play. No more championships of conferences. And I did see one holdup. The FBS, was it? They got like $250 million. I still don't. If the FBS has their own championships and everything like that, why do they have to be in this championship?
Yeah.
Or would if they're good enough. So a lot to be said. But 24 teams, I'll be happy with 16. But if that's going to be some.
I'll be honest though on that 24 number. So yeah, they took it to a vote with coaches, and what was proposed is, a maximum of 24 teams and whatnot. To me, I think it dilutes that playoff.
Totally.
Just the structure of the playoff having 24 teams. You asked me personally, I don't think there's 24
I
actual
don't
teams.
think so. I think 16 is the max. I think
Yeah.
12 is good. Now, granted, if you're a fan, you're Notre Dame this year. They would have loved 12 this year, and we would have loved 12 last year. The last year, the Cam Ward year, we would have definitely been in. That would have been special. So 8 sometimes is too little, and 24 is too much. So where are they going to land? 16, 12?
I think the sweet spot, if they want any type of expansion to it, 16, and you have to be done with it there. And I'll say this: I'm not surprised at all about just coaches in general wanting the conference championship to be gone, the conference championship to be gone. Because think about it, you could technically, yes, you can be punished for losing your conference championship, even if your positioning was better the week before. You're also running the risk of guys can get hurt, and you don't want that to happen when you're going into the postseason. Yeah, and you know what? I know opinions have always been like very differentiating when it comes to Miami's athletic director, who's going to be retiring in June 1st, Dan Radakovich. I think he did a pretty good job of Miami. You can never make everyone happy, but I think if there's one lasting thing that I remember with Dan Radakovich is that he flat out said it in a press conference. I would say over the past year, someone asked him the question about, just conference realignment and conference championship games. And he basically said it. He's like, yeah, I don't think conference championship games really should matter much going forward. He was very honest and transparent about it. He didn't lie. There's no reason to have those conference championship games anymore. It's just stretching it away. If anything, you know what you do? You make the regular season just a little bit longer. And we're kind of headed down that way because conferences now are pushing 9-game conference schedules. The 10-game conference schedule is just around the corner. It's going to
depends how big the playoff goes to, but the championship game, we know it's a hindrance. It can do you, it can do you more harm than good a lot of times.
Yeah.
And why should a team? It's like, okay, we said it. Ohio State and Indiana had to play each other, while Penn State, I got to stay home and relax. But the two best teams in the conference, who are 1-2 in the country, had to play in the It's like, here's your penalty. Here's your reward. You get to be penalized by playing in another game. That's ridiculous. They should drop that immediately. So, and I'm sure all the fans.
I will say this though, Brett. You could put money and the house on it that Notre Dame will get some special stipulations.
Oh, no doubt about it. When I see,
no matter the expansion,
the 8 conferences or whatever are getting together, and Notre Dame's AD. I mean, it's like how they don't say join a bleeping conference. There's no more independent. Miami was independent. Florida State was independent. It's not allowed anymore. If you want to be at the big dance, you got to go ahead and choose a partner, and the conference is the partner. We're doing this because we have a better TV schedule. Great. Take your TV schedule and you get to play on TV, make all that money, and you can call yourselves the champions of the independents. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the national independent champions. We don't play anybody in the playoffs. We're automatic champions. They can say it. They can have their banners for 50 straight years that they win. Who's it? Navy? Air Force,
and Air Force,
Army, they're the independents now. So it's ridiculous. Either you join a conference, you get a dance partner, or you're out. That's the way I see it. My dad used to have another line about when you go to the bathroom, you just got to get off the pot, but I won't go there.
So one quick note, and we're jumping to questions here. Recruiting wise, I'm sure everyone who's watching this show right now is probably seeing the public news that Mark Matthews indeed will be officially visiting Miami the last weekend of May. Plenty of fans were up in arms for about a good week and a half saying, oh my God, the sky is falling. Mario forgot how to recruit and everything. And, we'd said here like, hey, relax, let things play out. They were going to see him last week. They did. They saw him again this week. things have continued to progress well there. It's not that Miami's out of the woods. They still got to compete and battle in his recruitment. But like we've said before, the longer that recruitment stretches out, it gives more runway for Miami to work with and puts the pressure back on Texas A&M to close. Which, again, it sounds funny to hear me say to close on a local guy, but it is what it is. So he'll be visiting the last weekend of May. Ezekiel Ayungbil, 4-star defensive lineman out of the Texas area that Miami's been recruiting quite a bit. He's mostly down between Miami, Virginia Tech, and LSU. His father played in the NFL. His father also played at Virginia Tech.
Nice.
But latest feedback suggests this is running more so a Miami and LSU battle, that, the alma mater is not being pushed as much. And tidbit here as well, from what I understand, his father played with Damian Lewis.
Really?
Yes. So there's some familiarity there between both parties. And the other two names to bring up here, the other 5-star offensive lineman, Oluwasemalor Olubabala. I have perfected the name.
It's easy for you to say, Gio.
The 5-star offensive lineman out of the New Jersey area. Miami's still been involved and engaged there. However, like I said before, they want to play out that Mark Matthews situation. So we'll kind of see how they navigate that. This could be a situation where if Texas A&M gets Matthews, maybe Miami makes the decision to go all in on him. Maybe not. We'll see. But still engaged there. And the other one, an announcement 10 days from now, David Falarunsho, the 5-star defensive tackle out of Chicago, an area that Miami's put a very good imprint on the last few years, landing guys out of that area, even landing a 5-star quarterback out of that area this year, mostly down between Miami, Notre Dame, Texas Tech lingering in there as well. Big time Miami Notre Dame battle. I still think it's too early to call that one. There's still a little bit of time on the clock in that recruitment. We'll see what the feel is in a week from now as we get closer to the announcement date. But Miami believes they're absolutely in that one. So we shall see. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you this, Brett. They plucked Marquise Lightfoot out of that area, and plenty of people thought he was going to Ohio State. They also plucked Justin Scott out of that area, and Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, they were all heavily involved with Justin Scott, and Miami ended up landing him in the end. And they also got Israel Abrams now. They landed Gavin Mueller out of the Chicago area last year. Miami's made a really, really strong imprint there on that Chicago area, and it would be no surprise if it continues again because they've made great inroads there. So without further ado, we shall jump into questions here. We've been on here for about a little over half an hour. Thank you to we got over 500 people watching already this evening. Thank you as always for the love and support. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/Caneswear. And as always, if you download the Caneswear app, there is exclusive offers and discounts on the app only. Take advantage of it. There was one this past week. If you missed it, I'm sorry, but absolutely download it. You won't miss it.
Absolutely. All right. Looking forward to some comments.
Juan Manuel, Juan Manuel was an hour and 34 minutes early this time. This came in at 7:30 because we started a little just after 9 o'clock. So Juan Manuel said, "Hey y'all, Mark Matthews recruitment ain't over by a long shot. That's the bottom line because Stone Cold 316 said so."
Woo! I love it.
Hassan right after 7:52, he said, "Hey Gio and Brett, damn it, Juan Manuel beat me again. He was first." Yeah, Juan Manuel is dedicated. He also said, great news. Mark Matthews is going to visit. Hopefully that means we still have a shot. Thanks to our great coach, Mario, with his loafers. If there's one thing I got to give to Hassan, Brett, he's always been consistent with it, whether in the doom and gloom or the brightest of days for the program. Hassan's always been consistent with it.
We were all down after SMU. Hassan was single-handedly picking us up. I mean, I was rarely ever down like that, and I was upset. And Hassan was like, "Hey, it's not over till it's over."
Juan Manuel, man, there's a bunch of early comments before we even started. He said, Gio and Brett, so are you feeling better on the Hayden Lowe situation? We did answer that. Yes, feeling better on it off some recent feedback. He is a huge piece of the puzzle in the defense. He can both set the edge and pass rush. Yes, absolutely has the talent. Is another disruptor on that D-line. Absolutely. Juan Manuel also said, do you also think Cole McConaughey going back to D-line makes sense? He is one of your bigger defensive ends that can set the edge. I don't even think he was not a good player, just guys ahead of him. Yeah, it's not that Cole McConaughey was bad or anything at defensive end. He had an injury last year that kind of held him out. The year prior, he was a little more involved. I know he was a bit of an understudy of Ruben Bain as well. Ultimately, though, they moved him to tight end. I haven't heard anything about him moving back at this point. He changed his number and everything, too. He wears 89 now on offense. It's just more so learning a little bit more of the nuance of playing the tight end position. Athletically, he can. It's just things he's adjusting to there, which he took time with this spring. So he is one of those guys that I'm curious to see what is the progress on him when fall camp rolls around. I do want to remind people that sometimes this happens. There's big spring performers, and then fall camp rolls around, and maybe they don't keep up that same level, or other guys make a jump from the time of the end of spring to the beginning of fall. So we shall see. I would love to see some players make another jump from the spring to fall camp. Juan Manuel also said here, so officially Joshua Moore hamstring is good. Yes, like I said, it was not that serious of an injury. It was overblown. He also said, what did you think about Seatbelt, the corner during spring? Very long corner, 6'2". Yes, so you're talking about Jalen Waters, the true freshman that came out of Armwood High School, an area traditionally Miami didn't land kids out of, but Mario Cristobal has totally flipped the script with that area. Those kids used to go to UF and Ohio State. They used to never come to Miami if they played at Armwood High School. So definitely different times in Coral Gables. But I liked what I saw. Still has to refine some things, but physically, though, it definitely all the tools are there. He actually got a little nicked up in the spring game, but nothing serious. If I had to say from a physical standpoint of the true freshman cornerbacks that arrived this spring, like who's more ready to play physically, it's a toss-up between Jalen Waters and Brody Jennings. Those two guys, physically, if you needed them to, they can go out there and play. It's just a really deep cornerback room, and I'm super excited about the progress Jabari Antoine made this offseason. Mr. Hey, Andy, he said, hello, boys.
Hello, Mr. Hey.
Hassan, Gio, did you see Gabby's mock? I think he's talking about mock class. He has Miami getting DJ Jacobs and Fuller show. And then he said here, I probably screwed up his name, but he didn't put Matthews or the other 5-star lineman, forgot his name. Here's the thing about mock classes. I want people to understand this, that sometimes mock classes, even like the way they're formed too, it's about information that is available at the time of like when you put it out there, when you spoke it, when you wrote it, however which way you want to put it. I wouldn't hold it against the guy or anything. The Mark Matthews news of him taking the official visit at the end of May didn't come out until basically like in the middle of the afternoon today. So obviously huge news, but I'm sure Gabby, when he did his mock class, it probably revolved around before that news breaking. So again, like I've said, and before in the past, recruiting is a bit fluid. Things can change from literally one day to the next. It has happened several times, especially now with NIL, that there could be big sways So wouldn't hold it over against him. But in terms of like, if you're asking my opinion, like on his thoughts of like them landing DJ Jacobs and Folaroncho, yeah, definitely very possible. Actually, if you ask me, because I know they're chasing the other 5-star defensive end, which is oh my God, what's his name? The kid that's committed to LSU, Jaden Bryant. I think Miami's got a much better chance with DJ Jacobs, actually, of those two guys. So that's realistic. David Folaroncho, they're absolutely at the table right now. We'll see as we get closer to the announcement, but I don't see that being like an unrealistic shot at landing the guy. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion yet. And hey, you know what? Like I said, no one knows yet if Miami will or will not land Mark Matthews. There's still runway in that recruitment. So, no, I wouldn't hold it against the guy. And Hassan also said, again, Gio, thank you and Brett for what you guys do. And also, Canes fans, smash the like button and subscribe. Thank you, as always, Hassan, for your support.
Thank you, Hassan. Well, yeah, smash that like button, subscribe. So that's it.
So Andy said here, Gio, it's not a lie. So Gio, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Yes, it's not a lie if you believe it, Mr. Hay. Exactly. Another Georgism.
He also shared here, fourth quarter, 1 minute left in the game, ball on our own 20-yard line. Who is your QB, wideouts, and running backs? Andy brings up a great point that we're going to dedicate a show to that during this offseason of just, talking about like the all-time stuff, like just truly like get entrenched in that and just go with our debates and discussions on that. But I'll answer it really quick, though. The quarterback, I'm going Cam Ward. I'm a Cam Ward guy. I think he was an incredible talent, especially here at Miami. And just what he was able to do when the play would break down was the biggest thing with Cam. The wideouts, I'm going – you can't leave Michael Irvin out. And this is really tough because you can go either which way with the slot. You can go Santana Moss, Xavier Restrepo, Malachi Toney. I want Malachi Toney to finish his career first at Miami, though, before I do this. So I'm going to go with Santana Moss for now. And the other one, for me, it's flipping a coin between a guy like Andre Johnson or Eddie Brown, both tremendous talents. I didn't even mention Reggie Wayne either. It's incredible the talent that Miami's had come through this program. But the running backs, to me, I've always been an Edgerrin James guy. To me, he was Miami. I feel he was the best running back this program had. That was my opinion. But right after him, just give him a running mate in the backfield. I don't think you could go wrong with a Willis McGahee or a prime Alonzo Highsmith, a prime Melvin Bratton, all really, really, really good backs. So there's really no way you can go wrong here. Brett, you?
No, so many to choose from. I think the thing is, if you pick like a quarterback receiver that played together or two receivers and you say, okay, these are the top three groups. But I agree. I mean, obviously, I'm going to go old school and go Bernie Kosar. He obviously, every time Nebraska caught up to us, he pulled ahead by 2 scores in the national championship in '83 and '84 against the Gators. That opening game in Orlando, he brought us right there. He brought us down with no time on the clock to score the winning touchdown. So I'm going to go Bernie Kosar. I'm going to go with Michael Irvin, who's I know you picked as well, because I'll go. I mean, so many great ones: Lamar, Randall Hill, Andre Johnson, Santana Moss, like you said. So I'll stick with old school. Since you picked Irvin, I'll go with Lamar. I'll go with Randall Hill, who had the 3rd and 47 play. I'm pretty sure Randall had the 3rd and 47 play, right, from Vinny Testaverde. And I'll go with let's see, another guy, Dale Dawkins. I'm going to pick. I like Dale Dawkins, a guy that made big plays. People don't talk about Dale, but phenomenal guy. And so I'm going to go with those 3: Lamar, Randall Hill, and just get picking guys you did not pick. And who else did I say? Lamar Thomas, Randall Hill, and Dale Dawkins. Running backs, going back to also Steve McGuire, who is the Florida State killer. I mean,
Yeah.
when we need, I mean, they don't talk about it, but he was a beast, Stephen Maguire. And let's see who else I'm going to go with from old school. Who is that? Keith Griffin. No, we'll pass on Creed and Smokey Roan. And Smokey Roan was good. Albert Penley, but we'll go the other running back outside of who did I just name as the first running back?
You said Stephen Maguire.
Steve Maguire. And let's go since the championship years. I mean, nobody brings up Clinton. They bring up Willis McGahee. But Clinton Portis, I mean, 2000 and 2001, he was a stud. I should have won that Washington game, the game we lost. I'm going to go Portis as well in the backfield there.
Not bad at all. Definitely plenty of choices. That's why I said I think you can never really go wrong.
You never can go wrong. There's just so many that we don't even talk about. It's just phenomenal amount. Everybody, if you pick three, if you pick a quarterback, 2 or 3 receivers, 2 or 3 running backs, you cannot be wrong.
Yep. One angry black man. He said, "Go Canes." Thank you for stopping by.
Great friend of the show. One angry.
Andy said, "Jerome Brown, Cortez Kennedy, Russell Maryland, Warren Sapp, Vince Wilfork. Name a better 5 from one school." I'm gonna. This is my hot take as well on that one. Andy just shared. If Ahmad Moten is healthy and plays with that same energy again this year, the way he played in that playoffs, if he can duplicate that again, I think he's gonna be in that discussion of all timers for defensive tackles at Miami. He was phenomenal in that playoff.
He was phenomenal. I think Justin Scott could be special. He's shown some, but those 5, you think about those 5 guys, and they're all great in the NFL also. They weren't just great in college; they were dominating in the NFL also. I mean, there was a time Cortez Kennedy could have been the best defensive player in football. He was that good and underrated. I think they knew he was great. So that's just an amazing group of 5 there that is just unbeatable. I don't think anybody, Andy, could beat those 5 for a team.
Money Counter 305. Hey, Gio and Brett. After the national championship, Mario stood on the field and watched the confetti fall. Besides special teams, he said, besides special teams, what is the most important thing you think Coach learned that night?
That's an excellent question. That is that's Money Counter. That is $1 million question. When he watched the confetti fall, besides special teams, what is the most important thing? You think? I personally think that Mario says, you know what? Put points on the board whenever you can. Put the points on the board. Play, 60 minutes, which he already knows, but. We all know in the first half we were not the same team as the second half. It seemed like we were more aggressive in the second half. Granted, maybe because we were losing, but yeah. So I just think Mario, I think, is like more of instead of. I think he went away from. I said it all season. He was like mano y mano. I just want to go ahead. He just wants to. We called it just. 3 yards in a cloud of dust for Mario. Let's win it with a field goal. Let's go to overtime just to beat these guys. We don't want to blow anybody. I think Mario now is blow them out. Doesn't matter what it takes. We win this game. It's no more style. We just want to win. And, even if we have to blow out a team. So I just think Mario is don't take anything for granted. I personally thought there was no way we were going to lose that game. I thought we were going to blow them out going, I really did. I was shocked that we didn't.
Yeah, I think it was just that perfect storm for Indiana where, the special teams thing, the punt return thing where it just a split second there. If Malachi had the room that, they would have tossed it back on a trick play that was there. It would have been, it could have been a potential touchdown or just even the last drive. Just so many things that it felt like everything was going against Miami. There was so many opportunities to win, and it just felt like things kept on going against them. Mm-hmm. And even more so, I talked to a good buddy about this who I know him and his father have been Cane fans for years. years passed down generation from generation. And he said to me, he said, Gio, I knew something was off with that game the moment that I saw Fernando Mendoza dive into the end zone with the ball and everything getting smacked by linebackers and defensive linemen, and he still held on to the ball. Like, he told me that. He said, I knew things were just, for whatever reason, it was not on our side that night. So
No, that was a magic play. He just was not going to be stopped. You're right. The back shoulder passes, when we had them, we were stopping them. I mean, you're right. Just things were going their way. It was a magical season.
I think if I could, my opinion, if there's something Mario learned from that game, it's that, even though I think he already knew this beforehand, but even just that, the big one, the big game, even being in the backyard, that, like you said, Brett, like, you can't take it for granted that there's nothing ever guaranteed. I don't think Mario ever thought that game was guaranteed either, especially the way he speaks about things. I'm sure he didn't think it was guaranteed, but I think that at least in terms of the learning experience there, I think it was a culmination from everything from SMU to that moment that I think it's just going to make him a better coach, at least what he learned from SMU to that national championship game, that whole ride. I mean, I don't want to classify it as a turnaround, because I think Cristobal's always been a good coach, but I think he evolved. I think he evolved as a coach. And I always was on this. I said this beforehand, even before the SMU stuff and everything, that I felt that, that Mario could still evolve as a coach. And I think he has when he's been here. I think he's been able to learn that, to evolve, to adapt. And the reason why I say that is, what was the comments before Cam Ward took over at quarterback? They said, oh, he's not going to run a spread it out offense. People are like, no way he's going to do that or whatever. And they did. So I think Mario has proven that he's not as stubborn as people believe he is.
No, true. One more thing, the confetti coming down. If I'm Mario, and obviously I'm saying, you know what, I never want to feel this again. I want to be there at the championship. We came so close. I want this to be a regular occasion. I want us to be Alabama, how they made that run. I want the confetti coming down in orange and green. I don't want to see red and white or any other color. So that's what I think. I think he got a bad taste in his mouth. Excellent season, but like he said, we haven't done shit, I think he said, correct? We haven't done, and he's right. We got to the championship game. You know what? We need to win.
So Way New said, hey. Not an Andy. Hey said,
a nice little exciting conversation between Mr. Hey and Wayne. Thank you, guys.
Wayne said, we are better off not seeing your face. Oops, there he is. There's a whole sideshow going on. Juan Manuel said, are we in Brett drink beer time?
We are in that time, Juan Manuel. It's beverages with Brett and tacos with Gio.
Cafe 904 said, good evening, Canes family. Thank you for stopping by.
Good evening.
Andy said, oh my God, he's on. Wayne Hughes said, nice backdrop, Gio. Oh, yeah. Yes. Backdrop will be on very soon. Probably in the next show.
Don has got that. We have a nice backdrop for Gio. We're actually going to even listen. Mondo again is not here. He's in timeout again. So we're trying to get him out of timeout next week. So for all you that are missing him, I don't want to lie. Okay. He's in the gym working on his muscles. He's trying to get in that medium shirt. And I know he's pumping iron. So when he comes back, we're not even gonna recognize him. And Gio may have a light actually, so we can actually see him there. And God forbid he wears a hurricane item.
Let's see here. Hassan said, your wife is right, Brett. You're very handsome, and Gio's not bad himself. Canes Jones. Canes wear it. Go Canes. Thank you for always stopping by, Canes Jones.
Yeah, Hassan, thank you. And thank you, Canes Jones.
Sergio said here, what did you think of Gabby's mock class 3.0? That defensive line signing class would be a home run. I haven't seen the full mock itself. I'm sure if I look into one of the group chat, I'm in different group chats. Sometimes those things will pop up here and there. I'll check it out. But I mean, I forgot who mentioned it earlier. I think it was Juan Manuel mentioned it. Someone mentioned about like some of the predictions in there, or whatever. I don't think there's anything entirely off base. Someone was like asking the question, like, "Oh, do you think it's right that he didn't put Mark Matthews or not?" That was based on the information at hand until the news dropped that he is going to visit. Wayne News said, "Andy, relax, don't throw your panties on stage." Juan Manuel, yes, Brett seems like he is on some caffeine force. Hassan said, "By the way, fellas, happy Cinco de Mayo." Andy said, "Brett, bet 21, bet 21, bet 21. It's a surefire winner."
Bet 21, yeah. So Andy and I went to the track to Gulfstream to see the Kentucky Derby simulcast, and 21 is my lucky number, even though I didn't have it with Rich Strike a few years ago. And I loaded up on number 21. I had 21 with the 19, who ended up winning the race, one of the great Kentucky Derbies of all time. First time a female jockey. I don't know if and a female trainer. I don't know if anyone saw her, that thing when she's slamming it down. I mean, if that wasn't Harry Met Sally, I'll have what she's having, a moment. She was so excited. But yeah, so I had 21 and everything right before the race. And I really felt good about 21. I had a lot of tickets on 21. Right before the race, 21 bucks back, throws the jockey off, and 21 gets scratched. Now, I got all my money back for the 21, but I know he was set up to win. And somebody threw a mouse on him or something like that, and that was the end. They said, Brett can't win that much. He was a long shot. So 21, 21, 21. My wife said, what do we have? I said, of course, we've got 128. And she said, I think I was talking, a texter said, I think 21 just got scratched. He threw his drive. I said, what? I was stepping away for a moment. So anyway, that's my Kentucky Derby story. Thank you, Mr. Hay.
Bo Handsome, thank you for stopping by. As always, he said, great show, fellas. I noticed Rashad Wadood, that's the Oregon cornerback coach, was on Columbus's campus Monday recruiting for Oregon. When do you guys think the cornerback coach search will be done? So, yes, it's no stranger to anyone that Miami's been very interested in the Oregon cornerback coach throughout the entirety of spring and everything. I've said on this very show for some time now that there are local coaches who have referred to Terry Jefferson, the current standing cornerback coach, that was technically like the interim through spring, that local coaches have referred to him as Miami's cornerback coach. Like that's what they have believed would transpire. There hasn't been an official announcement yet. Until there's something official from the Miami side, we'll see. But that's kind of where that stands at. Hey, we got a very nice visitor this evening, Danny Boy Kane himself. Good evening, gentlemen. It's been a while. Tell us where we stand with Mark Matthews right now. I think very good standing. The longer that recruitment runs, gives more runway for Miami, puts the pressure back onto Texas A&M to try to close on him. And the fact that you get him in for an official visit now, I know some people say, oh, but he's seen Miami, this and that. An official visit's a very different experience from an unofficial, though. There's a lot more things that these prospects can do on an actual official visit on campus and everything, just the whole experience in itself. So I think that's a huge deal that they are getting him in for the official visit. Nowhere out of the deep waters yet. They still got a battle for him, but it's definitely a start there. And Danny Boy Kane also mentioned here, baseball game was canceled tonight against FIU. We finished with Louisville and then go up to Tallahassee before the ACC tournament. Yep.
I cannot believe it's already happening. That is so fast. Do we have a chance to double bye yet or anymore, or no? We no longer have a chance to double bye. You have to be top four. I think, right?
I have to look at the standings again. Yeah, I think Miami doesn't fall into that category right now.
Okay.
Way New 8100 Cinco de Mayo, the 5th, or Hellman's. Pinellas Kane, thank you for stopping by. I've seen him around for many, many years. He said, Gio, how's the recruiting going for the defensive tackle position? I think pretty well. There's a lot of active evaluations that have gone on. Some guys have moved up the board, some have moved down. A good portion of guys they've been engaged with: David Folaroncho, Braden Parks, both of those guys from the Chicago area, Ezekiel Ayungbil from Texas, Xavier Muhammad is another guy from the Texas area that they really like. He's a basketball player as well. They love that multi-sport athlete type of profile from guys. Jamar Thompson, another local guy from West Boca that they're still kind of keeping tabs on there. Malik Lee, Marquise Evans from Alabama. I'm probably forgetting a name or two here, but I think they have plenty of options on the table. And look, for some of their top guys right now, like Folaroncho, Ayungbil, Xavier Muhammad, Marquise Evans, they're in a pretty good standing for all those guys right now. I'm not saying that they land all of those, but they have a really good shot at each one of those guys that I just mentioned. Andy said, English Wayne. Jose Gonzalez. I like Brett's energy as well. I need some of what he's drinking.
Thank you, Jose. I will be passing that along soon.
So Wayne New said here, no English. No English. Andy said, okay, let's see. Juan Manuel. Hey, why isn't Juan Manuel's comment not on first? There seems to be two who there we go.
Juan Manuel, you have to go ahead, and if you're on Who Wants to Smoke, I think you're on this one because I see you always waiting. But remember to like and subscribe to the Caneswear TV. Now the thing is, now we get well over 1,000 viewers per show. Our shorts, we just have a few out there get over 1,000 viewers, and so, but we are right now at 95 subscribers. So if everybody can take a moment and go ahead and subscribe. If you're not subscribed, if you're seeing this on X or you're seeing this on Who Wants to Smoke, or subscribe to the Caneswear TV, where everything is going to be from that one channel, where we're going to be doing a lot of different things. So please, let's see, we're at 95. We can get to 100 this show. We probably will anyway, Gio, but if we can get to 100 right now, that would be exciting. It's like the Jerry Lewis telethon. Like, I'm Jerry Lewis, of course, and you are Ed McMahon, and let's hear it'd be like, anyway, we were getting the numbers.
By the way, to our viewers, if you are on the Who Want Smoke channel, please, we suggest move over to the Caneswear channel when we do this specific show. Please subscribe, as Brett said. You will also notice, if you are subscribed to that other channel of mine, I've marked on there in the title, you could see, please subscribe to youtube.com/Caneswear. It's right in the title. Doesn't have the same title as this video. We want you to subscribe to the new channel. There's a lot of stuff we're doing here. So Wayne New, he said, he asked me here, when you see Michael Yo, do you say yo? I actually did say something like that this afternoon when I was on with Michael Yo. I told him what's up, yo, or something like that. Yeah.
And it's funny because JD, who was the Canes fan of the year, I think last year, everyone knows JD. He always starts off his videos with yo, yo, yo.
Yep.
I expect Michael to jump out and say, yeah.
Now, JD's a great guy.
Absolutely.
Bo Handsome said, Big Ten has won the last 3 natties, Gio. Michigan, OSU, Indiana. Yep. And if Miami ever leaves the ACC, personally, I'd rather go there with all our old 80s and 90s rivals than to the SEC. You're absolutely onto something there, Bo Handsome. I've heard plenty of discussion the last 2 years about Miami and the Big Ten. Obviously, nothing can really happen with that until you get closer to 2029, 2030 with all these TV contracts. Mm-hmm. But if I had to predict a landing spot for Miami, if they left the ACC, which I don't think they're going to stay in the ACC long term, at least, I do expect it to be the Big Ten. It makes the most sense. They fit in academically. And I know not everyone is the biggest fan of Donna Shalala from an athletic standpoint. Mm-hmm. However, she could have a lasting legacy for Miami in terms of lobbying for them for the
True.
Big
Good point.
She knows plenty of the presidents and everyone involved with the schools in the Big Ten specifically, and she would be willing to do so from what I've heard. So
Awesome.
Way New 8100, big weekend for Miami baseball. Have to win the series. Absolutely. With everything that's gone on, would be nice to have a strong close. He also said, who's Florida State? You mean the dumpster fire up north? Juan Manuel said, Gio, it's been the last 3 Big Ten teams that have won it against SEC. Michigan beat out. Yes, you're correct. With a weakest team in years. Andy said, big series this weekend. We steamrolled the SEC in the playoffs. Absolutely did.
Totally.
They absolutely 5-0 against the SEC last year.
And it would have been amazing if we could have won that last game, because we would have been 2-0 against the SEC and 2-0 against the Big Ten.
In the playoff, yeah.
Yeah.
Possum Jenkins shared, we know the SEC isn't the SEC anymore, but how do recruits see the SEC nowadays?
Good question.
It depends. Look, I don't think it's so much all just the SEC bias with kids, because you see plenty of kids going to like the Michigans and Ohio State, Oregon, and those are not SEC teams. So I don't think it's all the way there anymore. It was definitely a thing some years back that kids were like, oh, I want to go SEC. I think that's gone away to an extent. Probably still lingers with some kids here and there. But yeah, no, overall, just with recruits, I'm going to actually ask that question. I'm going to ask it to one of these high-profile guys during one of the games this year. We always get the chance to talk with them in the tunnels after Miami plays a game during the season. And I'm going to kind of pick the brain of a big prospect to see kind of what their take is on the SEC.
That would be a great feature on the show, Gio. It's some Schwartz's Gio talking in the tunnels.
Possum Jenkins, rank the top 5 programs in the ACC. Top 5 programs. Miami. From there, I will go with, I know some people are not going to agree with this, but SMU. SMU is definitely a top program in the ACC. The money that they put in, the booster base that they have, yes, they're a smaller school, just like Miami, but I do think they're one of the top 5 programs in the ACC, just pound for pound right now. Clemson, even though they've been down, they're still a top program in the ACC. So that's 3 right there. I will also throw into the mix. Louisville actually does a lot NIL-wise. They definitely do a lot. So I throw them there in the mix. That's 4. Who else I would put out there?
North Carolina.
I'm going to go with, even though they haven't had the success on the field yet, from a football standpoint, I'm going to put North Carolina. I know some people may say, oh, well, how not Duke or whatever, the ACC game. Duke puts a lot into basketball. They definitely have been a little more invested into football, but it's very different with North Carolina, how they invest into football, especially the last couple years. The results haven't exactly been there yet, but they invest a lot into it. So at some point or another, something's got to give with North Carolina. So
it's going to be an interesting season with Bill Belichick there. If they don't really improve this year, how long are they going to keep them around?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Way News said also Jackson Smith and Jigba came and worked with Malachi Tony and Dalen Upshaw. Yes, I saw that workout video. Jacoby Graggs, yes, sir. Local legend, Malachi. One Angry Black Man. Malachi was a legend before He's the people's champ.
I agree with you.
Very true. It's very well known in the parks and high school level. Everyone was calling him Baby Jesus and everything.
He's given, he was definitely leading those kids in prayer and everything. Just an awesome sight.
Jose Gonzalez, Mario's always been a great recruiter. NIL comes along, embraces and excels at it. Transfer portal, same thing. This guy just goes with the flow and changes and adapts as needed. It's paying off big time. I'm with you, Jose.
I'm with you too, 100%, Jose.
Juan Manuel, Gio and Brett, I'm concerned about high-end defensive tackles for the 2027 season. I wouldn't say so. I think we just got to see how recruiting plays out. And not only that, Miami landed high-profile guy this past class at D tackle, and Kashawn Stansel is very, very well viewed nationally. Wayne New said Andy was throwing his panties at Malachi Tony. Hassan, the face on Jeremiah Smith's in the picture, I wish it was me that the community and city of Miami loves me like that.
I agree with that, Jeremiah. It's like, hey, you can never get that back. Got a championship, went to Ohio State, getting that money, but got to take a chance on Miami. We knew Cam Ward was. Unfortunately, he's got to be going to sleep at night saying, "Cam, why didn't you make your decision sooner?" I remember you telling me, Gio, back then, other people saying, if Cam would have came, Jeremiah would have came.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? That was discussed that plenty when that first happened. And some people were like, oh, no, he didn't want to come here and blah, blah, blah. And it's so funny because a year later, the kid admits it himself. He said, yeah, I was actually going to go to Miami and I kind of changed my mind. We're not always lying when we share some of these things.
Exactly. And, can you imagine? I'm not, with the what ifs, hey, we would have been the playoffs if we had him. And we probably, and we could have made it to that offense. I don't even want to think about that offense with him. It would have been a slugfest every game, but it would have been so we can't look back and say what if, but we can say what if.
Money Counter 305 said, hey, Gio and Brett, what do you think the next evolution of Heatherman's defense in year 2?
Great questions, Money Counter.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say more refined and better linebacker play. Just more consistent.
Goal. That's correct. I think you think we'll be blitzing more, blitzing less.
I think seeing the linebackers blitzing more. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Hassan said, Brett, I'm from Toledo, Ohio. Trust me, there is nothing to do in Ohio. Juan Manuel, Malachi Tony is a legend because kids could relate to his size, and he is one of ours. Malachi has been this way since Little League. Remember, Malachi, unlike Barrios, was homegrown. True. Jeremiah Smith feels that. Yeah, it's a tough thing. It's definitely a tough thing. But you know what? Like I've said before, I think it worked out for both parties in the end, for Miami and Jeremiah and Malachi. Right. It worked out for everyone.
Yeah.
JV, good friend of mine for years, Javi. He said, Gio, what are the details on the cornerback coach situation? Only team without a full staff. I mentioned that earlier, and I'll say again, been saying this since like the onset of spring, that there are local coaches that actually have guys committed to Miami that have referred to. They've referred to. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank now. Coach Terry Jefferson, that they've referred to him as Miami's actual cornerbacks coach. That's not the reference officially, like at the university and Miami and from Mario Cristobal's own mouth during the spring. But, the Oregon guy is still at Oregon at this point. So I think everyone can kind of deduce where things are headed there. Way new. Andy and I will be doing a signing at Caneswear on Saturday, May 9th from 11 until 11:01. Andy said, Brett paid me to not be there, Wayne. Might have given you gear. JoJo turned out to be a traitor. Oh, my God.
Oh, that is something else.
One Manuel. Jeremiah Smith threw the hometown hero guy away. I do think it bothers him when Miami beat Ohio State. Miami no longer covets a superstar wide receiver one because Malachi Tony filled that void. Smith doesn't like it. Yeah, it's a tough thing. But like I said, I think it worked out for both sides.
I think it worked out well. I mean, listen, Jeremiah Smith got a championship. He may get this year they're going to be up there with everyone else. It could be that right now he's projected to be a top 2 pick. So I don't think he did bad, and he made a truckload of money.
Way New said Jordan Lyon was good, but has to be able to run behind the guards and tackles. I agree. Andy said running backs all depends on this new offensive line. Yeah, Andy, I will say though, my one takeaway of watching that line in the spring and whatnot, I don't think the pass protection will be as good as the group from last year, but I do think they have a chance to be better in the run game. Just the makeup of that line right now. I really like that aspect. Wayne News said, I watched the games for the special teams, not the offense or defense. Juan Manuel, with Hayden Lowe playing, Miami has the top D-line room in the country. Miami's second D-line would make all ACC teams. Imagine second team, Lowe and light-footed, defensive end, Carter and Davis at D-tackle. Yeah, could be a very good group. And don't forget Herbert Scroggins. He'll be in the mix. Wayne and Andy visiting the store. Wayne said, I got to make sure I don't send you the wrong video.
Thank you. And that goes, thank you, Wayne. And that is, this is your show. Send us your videos, your shorts are 30 to 40 seconds, 20 to 30 to 40 seconds. And we'll pick some that'll go on our shorts. We'll give you the credit. And we're going to go at whoever gets $10. Whoever we pick, we'll get a $10 one. And then we're going to do some more things like whoever gets the most views and things like that. So we're going to be doing a lot of fun things. We're looking for our amateur YouTube engineers and digital creators.
Juan Manuel said, Gio and Brett, David Lake, a good friend of mine, actually, David Lake in the media, projects Darian Mensah to come back in 2027. He cited the very strong QB draft class. And he is not looked at as a first-round lock on his physical talent. And Juan said, I agree with David. I do agree with David to an extent. I think with quarterbacks, there's so many variables that come into play. Obviously, he doesn't have a weak arm by standards. It's not the strongest arm either. He doesn't have like the most zip on the ball. You're not going to immediately think of like the zip on the ball Cam Ward had. But I think a lot will hinge on the season, kind of how the other quarterbacks around the country do and whatnot. I mean, naturally you think like, hey, if this guy leads Miami to the playoffs and wins a game or two or really makes a run or whatever postseason wise, damn, he could be a first rounder, but not always is it that simple either. So, look, I'm on the side that says that, yes, I do think there's a possibility, not saying for sure, but a possibility that even if he does well and Miami does well, there could be that outside chance. Why bypass? I look at it like this, Brett. Why bypass that chance to be a first rounder by returning another year? Like,
correct. If he's going to be first right now, he's about he's 20-1 to be the number one pick in the draft. Arch Manning plus 250, CJ Carr plus 500, Dante Moore plus 500, Jeremiah Smith plus 700, Lenoris Sellers plus 14, Julian Sam plus 15, Drew Mastermaker plus 1,500, Dylan Stewart plus 2,000 or 2,000, which is 20-1. And then you've got a few other players in Darian Mensah. So he's considered on this to be, the 10th favorite, the 10th from the top to be the number one pick in the draft. So right now, that says a lot. I mean, anything can happen. As I was saying,
so much could come
that we wanted ahead of him. Look at DJ Lagway, 60-1 to be the number one pick. I think that's got no chance. Sam Levitt, didn't we want Sam Levitt this year?
Yeah.
Okay, 75-1 to be the number one pick. Obviously, not an NFL quarterback. Mensah, which I thought much better than him, and John Mateer. Didn't we want him really badly last year?
The year prior, yeah.
Yes. So he's at 100-1 odds. So there's a lot of guys, that. So he's pretty high up there, 20-1. So right now, the odds makers, the bookies, they say he's like the 10th favorite to be up there. So they know a little bit. I think he's going to go first round if he has the kind of season, but people are saying it is a very difficult class, but we'll a lot of competition, but we shall see. I think a
lot can happen between now and the whole season and the end of it, like I said.
Because we know those guys up top are getting close to $50 million. That's hard to turn down. Because you never know what's going to happen.
Andy shared here. Juan, so wrong. Not what the pro scouts are saying. Yeah, we got to see. I do remember around this time of the year when Cam Ward was in Miami, he wasn't getting first round projections.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, 2 years ago, Carson Beck was projected as a first round draft pick, like a top 10.
He was projected as the number 1 pick. When Cam Ward went, Beck was favored over him. Quinn Ewers was favored over him. Like Arch Manning is the heavy favorite. Really? I mean, what is he doing? He may not. I mean, he's doesn't have an injury right now. He may not even start. But it's like I just don't see it. I could be crazy, but those guys, Beck, and then I thought Beck, he's not even that good, and he wasn't for Georgia that year. He was better for us last year.
Let's see. JV said, if Mensa is back for another year, our season would be a failure, possibly. I don't think it's exclusive. I don't think one is exclusive to the other, honestly. I think both can be independent of each other. I think
Correct.
Miami could have a successful year and, just strong QB class and, the way it works out throughout the year. If maybe he doesn't fall into the category of a first rounder specifically this year, doesn't mean that Miami wasn't successful this season either. I don't think either is exclusive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One Manuel said Mensa for 2. Mensa should come back for 27 for so many good reasons. You don't go wrong taking a $6.5 million to enjoy your senior year. A better year in 27. Mensa would be the guy in 27. Yeah, so much can happen, like we said.
Sure.
Wayne said, laugh out loud. 23 playoff teams because Notre Dame cried.
Good point. Yes.
Mullet. The duck is here, everybody. Better duck.
The duck is here. All right. Let's start the show.
Jose Gonzalez said, if Ty Simpson was a first round pick this year, Mensa will definitely be a first round pick, barring injury, of course. Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't expect to see Ty Simpson being taken 16th in the draft.
His people also said he was offered a fortune. How big is Mensa? What is his size?
Mensa's about 6'2", 205, 210.
So he's good size.
Yeah.
It's a real 6'2".
Yes.
Okay.
Juan Manuel said, Mario has one QB guy to flip from the NFL draft in 27. Flip Mensa. Hey, and flip an in-house guy. Yeah. That's a good point.
Oh, yeah. I was worried.
He is. He said, it's all about the U. It's all about Miami. We survived the first wave from Mark Matthews. Yep.
Exactly. And nobody's talking about at last show, we were down on Mario. There was so much negativity. And welcome back, Howard Stern. I was worried we missed him the show. It was so much negativity. And then the Canes snatch out. We thought we're not getting anybody. And then we get Ty Keys, who throws 92 miles an hour, right? He hits like 450 as a baseball. Was it 450 he hits? And he can obviously, and he's a great running back. What do you get, like 5,000 touchdowns or something like that? He was a beast.
Yeah. So on Ty Keys specifically, so he's a two-sport athlete. This is directly from Miami. They shared this with me. Throws 92 miles per hour off the mound. That's 450. Named All South Mississippi in baseball. He was All Mississippi 4A in his state. Broke the Mississippi single game record with 546 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns in one game. This offseason was the MVP at the opening finals and also the MVP at the Under Armour Combine in his state. He also, as a junior, just one season alone, 3,285 rushing yards and 45 touchdowns as a junior. Mr. Football 4A in Mississippi. Look, I'll say this. The stats are like video game stats.
Mm-hmm.
I'll also share this too. Brett, it was as quiet as a mouse, everything that was going on. I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go take the kids to do something. It's the weekend and everything and whatnot. I ended up taking a look at my phone. I saw I had 2 texts. It was from Miami. And it said, hey, announcement at this time, and we're landing Ty Keys. And they gave all the details. I'm like, what? like I wasn't even expecting it at that moment. It was a great surprise, though. Definitely a great surprise that that commitment came earlier. So, look, I don't think any fan should be complaining. I've said it from before that Ty Keys, Miami, it's not like just a now thing just because Myson Johnson Cook didn't come to Miami. They were willing to take both of these guys. Now the question comes into play. From what I understand, Miami may not take a second running back in this class. It may just be Ty Keys. We'll see. Maybe they change their mind down the line, or whatever the case may be. But as of now, it's just Ty Keys.
Now, what is the story on him? Is he a speed back? What is he? 6'2", 205?
I wouldn't
classify him.
I wouldn't classify him completely as a speed back per se. Can definitely make guys miss in the open field. The measurements are a little all over the place. So at least from Miami's side of things, from what I understood, it was 6'2", I think 190 right now. A guy will probably be 200 pounds by the time he's in a college weight program. So around that range, tremendous athlete. Just overall, though. Let's see here. Wayne said, "Is this Dan Radakovich's decision to leave or Miami's?" You want me to be honest? It's a little bit of both.
That's weird.
Dan, look, I'll say this is not speaking bad on Dan or anything, but like I've shared before, you can never make everyone happy. There is a group of boosters that they weren't exactly happy with the way certain things were going, and no one's ever going to be all happy to begin with. That's just kind of how it works, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into being an AD and whatnot. I think Dan came to this program at a pretty crucial time where they were at a crossroads with having to change from the old guard and the way things were done to an entirely different view. But like I've said before, and Brett has said this too, the biggest thing is, to me, it doesn't matter so much the AD going forward. Yeah, it matters to an extent, but having a president that emphasizes sports so much and actually cares and loves sports is huge for the university. They've never had that.
No, they have not had that. And obviously when they won the championships, I think it was Tad Foote was the first set of championships. Tad Foote was at. Heck, they were talking about firing Jimmy after the '86 game with the with the camo uniforms, the fatigues. No, so that's great that we have the president. But, to me, Dan did a phenomenal job, depending on but I'm not behind the scenes. Obviously, as we know, when I coached sports or ran the scouts, their parents are complaining a lot and things like that. Everybody needs to have a say. So whatever it is, just hopefully they pick the right guy.
Juan Manuel shared here. The conference championship should have money on the line. Winner gets $4 million and double, and winner $2 million. Yeah, there could be incentive for that, but I think it's going to be obsolete going forward. It's kind of been trending that way for some time. One angry black man, the crybaby champions, Notre Dame. One man said Notre Dame just quit using the bathroom halfway wipe. Wayne said Notre Dame fans turned bar stools upside down to sit. Howard Stern, Gio, who is this new defensive end from Miami Central that just got offered? Any feedback on him? I don't have feedback on that yet. The next time we're on, I'll have something for you, Howard Stern, on that. Wayne said Andy will be making his commitment announcement on Sunday at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, so we're going to be working on getting commitments from players on the show. So we're definitely that's something. When we pull that one off, that'll be a nice, definitely a nice show. So move over, McAfee. We're going to be having the commitments right here on the King. We don't have anybody in line yet, but it's on our bucket list.
You know what's funny about what Wayne just said though, because it crossed my mind too. I mean, I haven't been to Chick-fil-A in some years now, but I do remember that Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays, actually.
Exactly. They are like Hobby Lobby and a few other places.
Bo Handsome. Notre Dame fans were crying during our game last year when they looked and saw that the first turnover was caused by Justin Scott, who they wanted badly. Very true.
That's
I'd
true.
love to poach another 5-star D lineman from them. Yep. Wayne asked Brett ribs at QD on Thursday.
Yes, we went for the ribs with some great guys who were out there on Thursday in Sawgrass out there. So yes, but we do have a podcast, I believe, Thursday night. So it's going to have to be a quick hit.
Pinellas Kane. If Miami's offensive line is average, this offense is going to be very good. Yeah.
I agree, 100%.
You don't have to necessarily per se be as good as the group from last year. They don't have to be exact one for one. And some of that has to do with that Mensa has a little more capability of extending plays from sideline to sideline. I had mentioned this before. I did a write-up on Mensa and the quarterbacks in general. And just even statistically, the way Mensa is, he's been throughout his career, he's never been like, I'm going to take off and run. Like, it's been more so, I'm going to extend plays, when I get outside of the pocket, when things break down and whatnot. And he's been able to be very successful at doing so. So it's not necessarily that he needs to run. He doesn't really have a need to, because he could extend plays, but when it is needed, he is capable of doing so, though. So I think that's a great understanding of what Darian Mensa is in terms of the running ability as a quarterback. Howard Stern said here, is Jamar Thompson a take? Does he have a committable offer? This kid is the best defensive tackle in Florida. He's amazing. Yeah, I like Jamar Thompson's talent, actually. However, like I've shared before, that is one of those situations where Miami is still like within active evaluations going on at D tackle. There's several guys that are kind of fall into that space there, and them just figuring out like, look, we like this guy more or that. They're still doing evaluations, but he is in the discussion though. Let's see. Jose shared Walsh QB, Irvin and Brown receiver, Edgerrin James, and McGahee running back. Can't go wrong with any. Just, yep.
Answering Andy's question. Walsh, the most underrated quarterback we've ever had, I think. Only lost one game, and that was the year that was the year the Cleveland Gary didn't fumble game. Dominating team. Realize if Miami kicks the 2-point or goes for the field goal, or the extra point instead of the 2-point conversion, we're in the national championship game that year. I know there's a few games to go, but it's amazing that people talk about the Nebraska missed 2-pointer that Kenny Calhoun blocked away, but we go ahead and go for the field goal, the extra point. If I can actually speak, have another one, Brett. And we're going to go ahead and possibly that to me was one of the best teams we are. We played the toughest schedule. We were dominating. We played a really good Notre Dame team. We should have beat them. That was actually the same day that Kirk Gibson hit the home run against the Oakland A's to win the World Series when he was on like one leg.
Howard Stern shared here. He said, Brett, unfortunately, there's a lot of Florida Gator fans in South Florida. Can you get them some support for the inbreds? Oh, my God. Juan Manuel. Andre Johnson is the best receiver in Miami. Johnson had the ability to single-handedly destroy teams, FSU, Nebraska, Virginia Tech. However, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Remember, Johnson wasn't featured individually. Very true. It was also different times back then, too. There's a little more leaning on run game back then. Howard Stern shared Andre Johnson was so dominant, just never had a good quarterback. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say so much the college level, but like at the NFL level, you could definitely make the case about that. He never had that true like big-time star quarterback. The best quarterback he had was Matt Schaub, who initially was Michael Vick's backup in Atlanta.
Sure. Atlanta, exactly. Good point.
Jose Gonzalez, Juan Manuel, Andre Johnson may have been best overall, but Michael Irvin was the best big game receiver Miami ever had. Yeah, I mean, you can make there's definitely a debate on that, like in terms of like the level of type of game, like what they were playing for, the stakes and everything. Definitely Michael Irvin could be thrown in there. Santana Moss was big time in like the big game. Well, he's known for that too. Like he even coined that term. He said big time players make big time plays in big games. So those guys, yeah, no, it's definitely an interesting debate. We got to dedicate a show to that specifically. I think
5 national championships. The '83 team had Brown and Eddie Brown and Stanley Shakespeare, correct? The '87 team was Michael Irvin and was it Brian Blades? And there was a Brett Perryman maybe on that year too.
Brett Perryman, 33.
Okay. '89 was that Dale Dawkins and who was he 91? I think he was 89. Was it Lamar was 91 or 89? Randall Hill. I get them all thrown in. So guys that had their hands on the ball in those championship years. That's what we got to pay respect to each team and see who those players are. It's a lot of guys that people forgot about also that were big integral parts of the championship runs.
Let's see. Wayne shared Mario learned against Indiana that Mendoza uses a lot of stickum.
Yeah, it's just a phenomenal game by him, even though we had it. But that's another story. You know what? I would have been rooting for the kid big time if it wasn't playing against us.
Howard Stern shared Mario's a stubborn man. He just learned that he needs to stop being stubborn.
That is true, but I think most head coaches don't adapt as much as they you get to that power position, you feel like you'd rather make a mistake, you'd rather lose doing what you think than lose by following someone else's directions. That's what I think it comes down to. I learned that in Pee Wee coaching.
One Manuel shared here, if Andre Johnson was featured individually and not sharing the ball with Shockey or Winslow, Roscoe Parrish, or the Miami running backs, McGahee, Porter Score, he could have had 1,600 yards, 20 touchdowns, and be a Heisman winner. Yeah, definitely, very much so. He had that type of talent. I think you have to go back to look at, for example, look at Calvin Johnson's career at Georgia Tech. It wasn't any insane numbers, but you knew by what you were watching that he was a ridiculous talent. Or even look at Julio Jones when he played at Alabama. There's been guys that have come after Julio Jones and his career with Alabama, but that they had much better numbers. But you speak to anyone that saw all those guys play, they always say Julio Jones takes the cake just off the eye test, what you saw, the individual talent. So I hear you, Juan Manuel. I absolutely.
The underrated part of the Andre Johnson years was the offensive line, not just Brian McKinney. They were dominating. I mean, Willis came in and he just, he was amazing, but he had, and he did the rest because you saw in the championship game against Ohio State, obviously we couldn't run as well when he went out. But that offensive line gave Dorsey time. It blew up in the holes. We had the great running game. We had the great tight end. Andre Johnson, while he obviously is a Hall of Fame receiver, was in a great place at the time as well, with tons of talent around him. He proved in the NFL he's one of the greatest, and possibly, right there with Michael Irvin. Are they the only 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers we had? Reggie Wayne isn't in yet, right?
Wait, is Reggie Wayne in already?
I don't think Reggie.
No, I don't think he's gone in yet. Yeah, no.
Yeah, so Reggie didn't go in yet. So that we will have 3 wide receivers. Is there anyone else wide receiver that went in the Hall of Fame?
I mean, you could make the case if Santana Moss had better QB play as well.
Yeah, Santana Moss, exactly. Santana Moss is amazingly in the Washington Redskin, I think, Hall of Honor, their Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he had the best quarterback Santana Moss had when he played in the league. It was Mark Brunell, who I think he was like a one-time Pro Bowler. He had that 1 year where
he was pretty good, but he wasn't in his prime at that time.
Yeah.
He played for the Jets first, and then he played for
Santana played for the Jets, and then he was traded to the Redskins. Yeah,
the Redskins. Yeah. So but Santana definitely in college, I think, with what he did returning and and being a track star, he's definitely in the upper echelon of Hurricane receivers. And some people could vote him number one because he could do everything.
Howard Stern, today, Cinco de Mayo. This is the last year Miami only has 5 national championships. As long as Mario stays out the way, we win it all. Johnny Jackson, the Emperor, thank you for stopping by. He said Miami Hurricanes haven't reached their peak yet. Yeah, I don't think this is just a one-off. I do think that Miami is going to continue to be competitive for years to come.
Mm-hmm. Totally. It's like I said last time, you look 85, 86, 85, we played Tennessee. We almost won. 86, we lost the national championship. 87, we won it. 88, the Cleveland Gary didn't fumble. 89, we won it. 90, another good year close. 91, we won it. 2000, we were the best team in college football. 2001, we won it. So we're definitely we're going up right now. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah. Sergio shared here, what is your feeling on the defensive recruit announcing this Friday? You're talking about Ezekiel Ayung-Beal. Yeah, Johnny Jackson said the guy from Houston. Yeah, I mentioned over the past weekend that I was considering logging a pick there. Haven't done so yet. Probably might log it tomorrow. Going to just check in on the feedback there and kind of what the feel is going into the announcement. But mostly Miami, LSU battling. I haven't heard much on the Virginia Tech side. He's technically a Virginia Tech legacy. Like I said, his father was an NFL player. Also played with Damian Lewis, who's Miami's defensive tackles coach right now. So some connections there that are helping Miami in that recruitment as well. Howard Stern, never forget when Miami was on top of the world 25 years ago. Donna Shalala used all that money for Health and not put it back in the program. Oh, my God. Juan Manuel, Michael Irvin was much more than a wide receiver. Irvin was a field general. He could galvanize a team with his emotion. This is that Jordan, Kobe, will your team gift. Very true.
Who was the one that started the fourth quarter? Obviously, it was Miami, but was it anyone in particular? Was it Irvin? Because the fourth quarter thing, when every team in the country does it now, the Miami Hurricanes started that in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm not sure which player specifically though. I got to find that out. You know who probably know that I could ask? I'm going to ask Larry Bluestein. He might know.
Great point.
Howard Stern. We have Jason Taylor 2.0 to coach our corners. Patrick Surtain, we're not giving him any chance. Terrible decision. Duck said, Danny Boy Kane, the best ever. Yes, Danny Boy Kane stopped by the show today. Juan Manuel, Parents Chain is overrated. Agreed. Juan Manuel, Pat Surtain left FSU. Hassan shared here, Brett, that's crazy. First time I bet in horse racing and I picked 21 and then I see he was scratched.
Well, I see two of us like 21. If I would have known that Golden Tempo was the Panther, the horse race from the Panthers, I would have gone a little bit more on him. But 21, that was his first race. Wow. I've never seen a horse get scratched right before in a big race like that. I know it's happened, but he just threw the jockey and the horse fell back too. So that horse is pretty big. I was saying, and Andy was saying, why don't they run him? But I guess when you're dealing with a big animal like that, you don't want to take the chance.
Yeah. Let's see. Johnny Jackson, his own son, went to Alabama. Johnny, yes, he did. Aspire Consulting, thank you for stopping by. He said, Surtain is good where he is on another team sideline. Woo, strong words.
Yes.
Johnny Jackson, I see Mario's recruiting coast to coast now. To be elite, you have to recruit nationally.
Totally.
Absolutely.
We've got a lot of great players. Everybody thinks everybody's from home here in South Florida. A lot of great players have come from other places. Ed Reed is one, for example.
Juan Manuel said, I saw Michael Irvin play as a little kid. His energy was electrifying. When he scored and put his arms up, it was awesome. I know Brett remembers how electric Michael Irvin was.
Michael was totally electric. There was something special about him and he did it in the NFL too. And you see it after now with the way he leads this team on the field. He's dynamic in so many ways.
Wayne said, right now Miami's 5th in ACC baseball standings. Louisville and FSU series are huge. Absolutely.
Absolutely, Wayne.
Johnny Jackson, the Emperor. They need that Kansas dude to establish a Midwest pipeline. Yep. Howard Stern, Gio, when do you think Miami will stop sending players on the recruiting visits to Prime 112? It is so boring there to take them to Sexy Fish or Poppy Steak, something with a vibe. It's kind of always yeah. Usually, look, this has kind of been the rundown for a few years now. What they do, they do like a Rusty Pelican. All right, so on the official visit, 72 hours, they usually do that Friday night when they come in, the Rusty Pelican. That's been kind of a staple for many years. They do. Then Saturday evening, after they have all these meetings with the coaches and seeing the campus more and everything, and more of the academic side of the school, they go to Prime 112 on those Saturdays, and then Sunday they kind of wrap up the whole visit and whatnot. So it's kind of been their whole tradition, though. Johnny Jackson, the Emperor, said Gus Corsair. Yeah, that's interior lineman Miami's involved with this year. It's kind of between him and Reese Russell potentially to be the center in the class. We'll see. Howard Stern said, I like the fact that Mario has balls of steel, not like Larry Coker, who let everybody run over his ass from Donna Shalala to Ron Zook.
That is true.
Howard Stern, I would hate to be in the Big Ten. I know some people are not the biggest fans of it, but it does make a lot of sense for Miami to go there. Johnny Jackson, Big Ten too cold. Howard Stern, yep, Johnny, way too effing cold. No reason to be playing games in the Midwest. Let's join the SEC. That's the thing, though. SEC wouldn't want Miami because they already have the Florida market with the Gators.
But if there's two conferences eventually, which is what people are talking about, I mean, there's going to have to be multiple teams from Florida in that conference,
True.
in the SEC or in the Big Ten. If there's only two conferences, it's going to be funny if the SEC, continues to lay eggs. But we'll see. It's only been 3 years. I mean, are they still the SEC and the Big Ten? I know they're going to change the names probably. I think if there's two conferences, they're not going to be called the SEC and the Big Ten anymore.
Yeah, it'll probably be entirely different names.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Jackson, beating Georgia and Florida is better. You want to play in Minnesota, fine. Howard Stern said, the SEC is never going to be the same. All those years of paying under the table are done. Everybody can pay. Everybody's got money on the table. All those hillbilly schools will never, ever be the same. I'm with him. I'm with him on.
I think, that's why I think there could be 4 conferences, but we'll see. And then it's 4 divisions.
Bo Handsome, I can no longer blame kids for SEC bias because NFL coaches and GMs help enforce it. Just to take a look at the draft, 85-plus SEC players drafted, and a bad UF team had 7 of their guys picked. Very true, Bo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even as we said here, too, when we did the draft show, that the draft was a little strange in itself, too, just the way some things transpired. But it is what it is.
Correct, but it's also not going to be those 85 kids were drafted? I mean, not everybody. A lot of players are drafted on where they go to school, after a while. Not that these teams don't do their homework, but I do have to believe the SEC is still the hot topic, a hot name, and it's the team that's seen most on TV. It seems like they have the best broadcasting. But we shall see who sticks and who's the best players in the NFL.
Juan Manuel said, Donna Shalala, the swimsuit model, an R-rated superstar of Coral Gables that took Abel Danger thrown in Coral Gables at 85. Howard Stern, remember, Texas just got to the SEC, so did A&M, technically. Very true.
Correct. 100%. We're just going to add teams, and that's going to make our conference look better.
Johnny Jackson said the SEC naturally has talent. The Big Ten poaches. Juan Manuel said, hey, Gio, is it true you interviewed Mario? How did it go? Not recently. You have to talk about back to spring, but that is something I am inquiring about because I know every now and then he gives out a little bit of time to hop on and interview some of the other people as well. That's something I have to request through the school. Johnny Jackson, the Aggies are hillbilly, but Texas is like USC of the South. Very true. Howard Stern, Nick Saban won a lot of championships with South Florida and Florida players at one point. His whole secondary was from South Florida. That is very true, too. I remember when they had Eddie Jackson in that secondary as well. Johnny Jackson agrees with me. He said SMU is a good program. It is. Canes Jones, Brett, you have to let me do the naming and you be the face. It should be called Tunnel Talk with Gio.
I like it. Great point.
Stern, I hate hearing about Jeremiah Smith to Miami. If Miami was smarter and offered their quarterback Bailey and the running back that went to North Carolina, Jeremiah would have been a Cane, but we offered Judd. Yeah, that's kind of hindsight is 2020 and whatnot. I do agree with it though. Like back then at the time, I thought Bailey was the better prospect of those two guys, but it is what it is. Howard Stern, I have a dream of seeing Nick Lanier, Mark Matthews, and Amir Sears and Malachi Toney holding a national championship. Hey, if that happens, man, from your dream to the football god's ears.
Absolutely. I have a dream of Darian Mensah, Mark Fletcher, Cooper Barkate, and Malachi Toney holding that trophy this year.
Kubice, thank you for stopping by. As always, good evening, gentlemen. Go Canes. Go Canes as always. Jose Gonzalez, Howard Stern, I'd love to see that as well. He also said, don't worry, guys. Jeremiah Smith is coming back home to the Miami Dolphins next year.
That wouldn't be bad. I would take it.
Speaking about that, I've seen so many memes about that, about Dolphins fans saying, tank for Jeremiah, tank for Jeremiah.
That would be, if the quarterback is good, that would be amazing.
Howard Stern also said, if Mensah has the season he needs to have to take us to a championship or deep in the playoffs, he's gone. The NFL is going to come calling. Yeah, I believe so in theory, but it's have to see. Johnny Jackson said, I have a dream that the Canes, orange and green, will march in a parade in Miami. Okay. Howard Stern, Dante Moore is going to regret not leaving for the NFL draft. Watch. I'm surprised he didn't go. Johnny Jackson said, Oregon is a joke. Dan Lanning is a coke. Oh, my God. I will say that maybe Johnny Jackson might somewhat be on something there because Dan Lanning is always like super what's the word I'm looking for? Just really amped up during mid-game interviews.
Super
hyped than the average coach. Wayne said, I wonder who Sorsby put his money on. Andy said, Diabell right now is QB1 at Texas.
I heard that from somebody too. Probably the same time I was with Andy at that time when we were told that.
Jay, Canes for life. Do y'all think Shannon Dawson will use the big wide receivers in a package in the red zone? I think so, especially having a guy like Joshua Moore. Cooper Barkade's got plenty of size on him too, being 6'2". The other kid that came in, Cam Vaughn, he's about like 6'3" and some change there. Yeah, I could absolutely see that. Samorian Wingo's another guy, 6'2", 6'3" range. Like I mentioned earlier, Josh Moore, 6'4". A guy that came on a little bit late at the tail end of spring, Mylan Paris started to improve a bit. He's like 6'6". So they got options in the room. Yeah, I do think it will be used this year, especially as long as Joshua Moore carries that spring performance to fall, then yeah, that could translate into the season. Andy said, by the way, we want to invite everybody out to Quarter Deck Sunrise on Thursday night, a $6 rib night. Benny Blades will be there along with a special guest. Nice.
Right. Special guest.
Andy also shared here, the only quarterback that should have been drafted in the first round was Mendoza. I'm with you, Andy. I do think Ty Simpson's talented. However, just the way that season ended with Alabama and some of his performance, I know it wasn't all him because Alabama's offensive line wasn't so great last year, which again, I know just probably concerned like plenty of Dolphins fans considering they took Caden Proctor, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, I just didn't think Simpson was a first round pick yet, but it is what it is. And Andy shared, by the way, I'd like to get a big shout out to all the teachers out there. National Teachers Day. Thank you, Wayne, for all the work you do in the community. Much appreciated.
Yes, Wayne is a teacher, and thank you to all the teachers. Absolutely. Definitely Definitely, let's hear it for them. Round of applause.
Let's see. Geocane 75. Geocane 70. Brett, you're hilarious. Geocane 75 said, we need defensive tackles and cornerbacks bad in this class and linebackers. I think the D tackle stuff will happen. I think Miami will get the linebackers this year, however, which way it shakes. I am curious how cornerback will shake out long term, though. Wayne said here, thanks, Andy. Much appreciated. Martin Dubé from the other side of the globe stopping by. He said, keep in mind that Ty Keys broke running records in a state which had a running back called Marcus Dupree.
Good point. And Mississippi's got some talent. I mean, there's a lot of kids that come out of Mississippi. So we'll see. Be interesting.
I like this comment from Howard Stern. Very, very true. Howard Stern said, Ty Keys reminds me of Bobby Washington Sr., not Bobby and Robbie that were with Miami a couple of years back. But he said, unfortunately, Bobby Washington never got to play for the Miami Hurricanes because of the damn admissions. He was a legend in Miami-Dade. Yes, he was a tremendous running back at Miami Killian, those early teams. Stephen Tulloch, family friend of mine, of my family, who played in the NFL for many years, played on those Killian teams as well. Played with my brother in Little League, actually. His history goes way back. But, Bobby Washington Sr. was a tremendous talent coming out of high school. He was a 5-star running back. It was a shame that he couldn't suit up for Miami with admissions and everything. But I do remember plenty of stories on him. And I can actually see those comparisons there, yeah. Howard Stern said, Gio, did you hear that Miami offered Adrian Peterson Jr.? Damn, I feel old now. I haven't heard about that yet, but yeah, that definitely makes plenty of us start to feel old here now. Carlos Montilla, thank you for stopping by. He said, what is going on with Hayden Lowe? So I mentioned it earlier about once or twice. I'll say it again. Latest feedback I've heard on that sounds more positive in the aspect that he could play for Miami this year. That he probably would be with the team in the fall. Martin Dubé, ho-hum, Canes doubters. It's only May, and already Mario is doing his annual Eat Your Words full tour. I love it, Martin.
I mean, last week, everybody was jumping off a building. We're not going to be any good. A couple of 17-year-old kids didn't want to come to us. And Mark Matthews was not even a definite. It was we didn't get the running back. And then we signed Ty Keys, and, it's like, okay, we can get stars. Who knew?
Andy shared, come on, Gio, let the truth be said. Radakovich was not the best fundraiser. You got to bring in the sponsorship dollars, buddy. And he wasn't doing it. Yeah, I just try to be political in the sense of I think he came in at a key time where, like I said, it was a transition from changing of the old guard and the way certain things were done to a much new and different regime. The way things are operated now, it's totally different from 5 years ago.
We got a major league AD. I mean, he was something that the program at that time, we thought it would never happen again.
Yeah. So, look, Andy, I hear you. I hear you because there's certain things I've known or spoken about with people. I don't want to push it out there because the guy's going to be retiring and whatnot. But, yeah, I hear you. And even on your next comment, too, you said Donna Shalala brought in big bucks. That's very true. Donna Shalala can still bring in big bucks. And if Michael Yormark comes in, he will bring in major, major, major big bucks. That is true. He is a businessman. He also said here, I have one commitment coming on your show. It'll be July. Big one. Interesting.
Mr. Hey is coming to the table. Look, I mentioned it, and Mr. Hay is going to deliver a major commitment on the show. Thank you. Anyone else has any major commitments? We'll take them on the show live.
Wayne shared here, I'm going with Kirby Freeman, Ethnic Sands, Akeem Jalla, and Sam Shields with Tyrone Moss and Joe Yearby at running back. Well, Tyrone Moss and Joe Yearby were pretty good running backs at Miami. I wouldn't say the greatest, but they were really good players.
Joe Yearby had that great season. Then at the end, I mean, what was that? The 2023? Well, he had he scored quite a few touchdowns. He suspended a couple of games. Great family. They'd come in and everything like that to the store. Dad was a great athlete. I think his dad
Brett,
was a
you'll be mind blown right now, but his son is one of the best running backs in the parks now in Little League.
Joe Yerby. I knew he had a kid.
Junior, yeah.
And his father was a great athlete. So wasn't Tyrone Moss one of the greatest running backs of all time? And in Broward was in Broward.
Yes, he played at Ely High School. Yeah.
I mean, he's still maybe the number one running back. He was just phenomenal.
Rest in peace to his soul.
Yes, absolutely.
I actually had spoken with a couple of his former teammates at an event months ago. You know, we were talking about it and everything. Just the talent he had. It's unfortunate the injury he had his last year in Miami. It seemed like he was like starting to hit that point where he was really starting to take off in his career at Miami, and then the injury happened and everything. It just seemed like he never got it even right, even the year after. Like he was still kind of hurt the next year. Then Edgerrin James' nephew came in, Javaris James. I remember all that. Kirby Freeman, though, I'll always remember the 1-for-14 game against NC State where he threw his one completion was an 83-yard touchdown pass to Darnell Jenkins. I never forget that game. Ethnic Sands was a tremendous high school quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played for Carroll City. Akeem Jolly, I think Akeem Jolly came out of it was the New Orleans area. He was a big-time receiver, but I guess it never really came all together at Miami. And Sam Shields, tremendous story with him. Started off as a receiver, had drop issues. Randy Shannon moved him to cornerback. That may be one of the best moves Randy Shannon ever made as a head coach because Sam Shields became a Pro Bowler in the NFL as a cornerback for the Green Bay Packers. Wayne shared here, personally, I think Mario learned he has to let his OC and DC do their jobs. True in essence. Pinellas Kane, if you were to make a list of the all great Miami wide receiver, the number would be incredible. Absolutely. There's so many you could list. And a guy who gets forgotten because of those like probation years and everything, Yatil Green, Brett.
Yeah, Yatil Green. I mean, drafted by Jimmy Johnson, Miami, the Dolphins, and just got a freak injury. But he was he was drafted in the first round. Great length on him, great hands. He was a special talent. Nobody talks about Yatil Green. That is funny that you brought that up.
Yeah. Andy shared here, Howard started it from the speech. We will never be beaten because the team was in better shape than us. Very true.
Great point, Mr. Hay.
Roe from X, thank you for stopping by. Miami does not fit the SEC at all. The U is the U. Yeah. Roe, I agree. And not only that, even if people tried to lobby for Miami to the SEC, there will be some pushback there from the SEC itself. They don't want to have Miami in. Let's see. One minute said, "Don't you go to Prime 112 for the?" Oh my God. KCG 305 FYI, I believe Reese Russell committed to Washington. I know Washington was in the mix. I wasn't sure if he committed or not. I got to check that out. I haven't looked at the news wire for commitments today. Juan Manuel said, "What's a hillbilly school? Is that a school like Florida where you date and kiss your cousin?" And Sergio, Cam Ward threw for 4,313 yards and had 39 touchdowns with 7 interceptions. Do you think Mensa will go over or under those numbers? That's a tough one. I think this offense with the receiver, like the receiver skill set, they're much deeper than the group Cam Ward worked with. More capability for like that deep passing game, especially like even just Mensa really excels in that aspect. But man, just the numbers Cam had were really impressive, and it's hard to match that. I'm going to go with this because maybe with some extra games, it could be surpassed and whatnot. I'm going to go with that. I think Mensa could hit 3,800 yards and 30 touchdowns in a 12-game span of the regular season. I think he could hit 3,800 yards, 30 touchdowns passing in 12 regular season games. I think that could be done.
Well, Gio, last year he was 3,973 yards, so it was higher than what you had said, 34 TDs, 5
Yeah,
less
but
than
he had the ACC championship game, though.
6 interceptions. I understand. But if we look at who their receivers were, uh, who are they besides Cooper Barkade?
I couldn't even tell you right now.
And who are the running backs? So he's got talent. I mean, if he can, I mean, he's obviously being touted this year. And Cooper Barkade, to me, he's 6'2", but he plays like a big time. You can see when he's warming up or in the spring game, he plays like a very big receiver. He looks huge over the middle. Maybe I've been used to Berrios, Restrepo, and a lot of the other smaller guys that we've had. But this kid looks big and solid and looks like he's got great hands. Then you got Malachi. You got Joshua Moore. We've got obviously several others. So we'll see. And I'm hoping they use the backs more in the passing game this year. I think we need more screen passes that, when the rush is coming in, just screen it out. I think more of that.
I do think you'll see some of that take place because I noticed Mensa, at least with Jordan Lyle, he's had a little bit of an affinity with him where he feels comfortable dumping it off too.
Mm-hmm. I think wheel routes for these running backs, I think just they have to utilize them more. And hopefully we're not going as much with the quick outs. That play, obviously, every team uses it, but it seems like sometimes we use it too much. The little bubble screens.
Andy shared here, Diabella is number 1 because Manning is hurt. Oh, wait. Arch Manning's hurt right now? Didn't know about that.
We did hear that, yes.
Here, he said, you and Brett, what do you guys think of our kicking games? It wasn't the best last year, and we haven't talked about it much this year. Well, I'll share with you this. Jake Weinberg, the one field goal that was taken in the spring game, he hit it. He cleared it easily. He's got a big leg. I still think that's one of those positions that I want to take a closer look at when we get to fall camp. See what else is going on there with feedback and whatnot. But so far, so good. Miami has a punter. Just want to see how that kicker situation is handled. They got 2 guys competing, Jake Olson and the transfer from Northwestern, and Jake Weinberg from Florida State, who came back.
Hopefully we don't put ourselves in that position. Never forget the Manny Diaz year. We lost to Florida. We could have won with some field goals. We missed the field goal against North Carolina. Obviously, they didn't stop them on 4th and 15 or so. But the kicking game is so important. But the way to go ahead and not make it so important is to not have to worry about one kick being the difference in the game.
Yeah. Juan Manuel shared here, Ty Keys reminds me a lot of Ricky Waters. Wow, that's a throwback name. Notre Dame and the 49ers. He was a star. Yes. Ricky Waters was both a receiver and a running back. That's very true. A very, very similar mold, like a Marcus Allen type as well. Marcus Allen was really good at that too.
Yeah. He was on my first fantasy team, Ricky Waters. He led me to a championship.
He was 6'2", 205 pounds, but moved like a 5'9" back with power. He was equally good at receiver. Yes, he was. I think he's like one of the few backs that he had like 5,000 rushing yards, but like 4,000 receiving yards in his career. Some crazy numbers like that. You know what's even crazier? I know, yes, he's a Notre Dame guy or whatever, but I'm going to remove that from the NFL career because he was a really good NFL player. How he's not even in the Hall of Fame? That's crazy. I do remember seeing that a while back. Ricky Waters not in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. LTO official, thank you for stopping by. He said, I feel like we don't talk about Duke Johnson enough. He was great at a downtime. Yes, he was. He
100%
does,
correct.
He may not get enough credit at times because of like the circumstance and everything. I think some of those guys kind of get lost in that shuffle. Like for a tremendous tight end here at Miami, David Njoku, like even though he did play on that first Mark Richt team, you wish some of those guys got to play with better teams, some of the all-time teams.
I think, Duke Johnson was, I think, high. Njoku was good, but Duke Johnson was the best. You're right. We don't talk about Duke, and we all leave him out. And, when he got drafted by Cleveland, And I really thought he was going to land at the NFL. He just got, and I remember the Cowboys drafting the Ohio State running back. What was his name? That came out the same year. Elijah, not Elijah. What was his name again? Who? Elliot. There you go. Elliot. And my wife, half Buckeye, said it. So when they, you know what? I remember just thinking that guy had the best line. The Cowboys had the best line in football. And that was if Duke's mom said, or what, was a wonderful lady. Too bad. Duke didn't get that line. And it's true. It's where you get played. I think he would have been awesome. He even showed it for the Dolphins. Came with the Dolphins. He was starting to peak with the Dolphins. Had a great year, even though it looked like comeback player of the year. And then he went for a little bit more money somewhere else. But he looked awesome when he was here. So I just think if he would have been drafted in a better situation, he could have been a star in the NFL. And he was just dynamite, returning kicks, running. I mean, he was a beast, Duke Johnson. And if he would have played in any of those championship-type teams with those offensive lines, I can't even imagine how good he would have been. If he was on this team, wow.
Johnny Jackson shared here, Miami's recruiting nationally. Yes, they are. Juan Manuel, Tyrone Moss's records still are up. Tyrone Moss, before injury, was something. Yes, yeah, he was doing really well that year before he got hurt. He had 100 yards before halftime versus FSU in 2004. Yep. Juan Manuel said Yatil Green, Leonard Hankerson, Wesley Carroll, Chris T. Jones.
Wesley Carroll, great point. I forgot
underrated.
Horace Copeland, Chris T. Jones. Great calls on those guys.
Actually, I didn't even realize it. It was one time I was at a practice at Green Tree, and huge guy pulls up right next to me on the sideline there. It was Chris T. Jones. I didn't realize it was him until he started talking to me. He was like, hey, I really like how these receivers look and everything. It was the season before it was the off season when Cam Ward was here. And started talking with him and everything. He's like, oh, yeah, I know. I played for the Hurricanes in the mid-'90s. My name's Chris Jones. Everyone called me Chris T. Jones because on my team there was also a Chris C. Jones.
No, he was a player. By the way, going back to Ricky Williams, you were right. He had over 4,000 receiving yards. He had over 10,000, almost 11,000 rushing yards, over 4,000 receiving yards, 91 total touchdowns in the NFL. First running back to rush for 1,000 yards for 3 different teams, 5-time Pro Bowl, and 4-time All-Madden, which trumps everything else. So whoever made that comment that Ty Keys reminds him, I would definitely, if Ty Keys turns out to be another Ricky Waters, I think he'll have quite the career.
Absolutely. Sergio shared here, do you think there is a trap game on the schedule this season that could get Miami? Yes. Which one I would say? I think the obvious is, Notre Dame being on the road late November and everything. Obviously, that's always going to be a tough one. The other one I would say, I think when SMU comes to town as well, I'd say those.
I mean, I'm nervous of Stanford going out to California, first game of the year.
Really?
Yes, I'm nervous of them.
I think they'll be fine.
It's not a trap game, but it's the first game coming in there. They've really got nothing before Clemson, Florida, then a bye, Florida State, Pittsburgh, North Carolina. I'm in North Carolina with Notre Dame coming up. That could be a tough one. You never know. That's the kind of game we got back-to-back road games. That after it's Pittsburgh, then North Carolina, then Notre Dame. And we could be looking ahead. North Carolina has had our number in North Carolina some years, so that could be a tough one. We also haven't played them in a little bit, so I'm concerned about the North Carolina game. That's
Juan Manuel shared here. Mensa gets 4,100 yards and 42 touchdowns. He will have many 5-touchdown games and games where we have to take Mensa out for mercy. Hey, I would certainly hope so. That would be great. One angry black man said, He said because Ricky Waters used to cough that ball up. Yeah, but he was still a really good talent, though. One angry black man, Ezekiel Elliott. Yep. Johnny Jackson said, got to run Fletcher. One angry black man said, love Miss Cassandra.
Absolutely. Wonderful lady.
Sergio shared, did you see Malachi and Nick Lanier working out with Jackson Smith and Jigba recently? Those two are going to be special together for one season in Miami. You're absolutely right. They will overlap for 1 year. I did see the workout videos. It's really exciting and encouraging. Dalen Upshaw was out there with them too, who I think gets forgetting a lot with the receiver room, but I think he's going to have a nice year. Pinellas Kane said he's got a running game now, and that will take away some receiving yards. Yeah, I think he's referring to Mensa. Andy said, fun question. If you took Miami all-time, Florida State all-time, Florida all-time, pick the best players from those schools, now pick 3 other schools to match them up against for another show. Just fun question. Huh. You know what, Andy? Let me take that down in the notes here because there are some all-time things, like just specific shows I want to do. We could specifically just debate that back and forth.
If you take that, I mean, that's a state, but I think Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State's got some pretty good a 3-team pack, and obviously Alabama, Georgia, and if you want to pick who else would be LSU in there. Speaking of LSU, so I'm going on this prediction for Mensa. There was a guy in 2018. All right, he threw for less than 2,800 yards and 16 TDs. And his next year, so I'm going to say this is Mensa's year this year. We're going out on a limb. I will know who this guy is. He completed 76% of his passes, threw for 5,600 yards and 60 touchdowns. That's what I think we're going for. We're going for Joe Burrow's amazing year, and we're going to go for that with 60 touchdowns, 5,600 yards, 77% completion. So I'm going to take for Mensa. I'm going to take 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. Right now, you heard it here.
That's bold, Brett. I don't know.
Bold Brett. That's what they call me. Bold Brett.
I sit more on the side of conservative.
I said last week, guarantee we get Mark Matthews also. He wouldn't go to Texas A&M. So I'm still on hold on that one. So we'll find out.
Juan Manuel, I could see Mensa averaging 4 touchdowns a game as this season gets past Clemson and Heisman watch starts. Miami does want – actually, you know what? I take back my trap game. I think Clemson's a trap game. Absolutely. And Heisman watch starts. Miami does want the Heisman for Mensa and will be cognizant of his numbers. 4 touchdowns and 300-yard norm. One angry black man. The North Carolina game is the week before Notre Dame. It's a trap game. Very true. Jose Gonzalez, based on Mario's last interview, no trap games. Yeah, you would hope so.
Andy said than done.
Yeah. Andy said, so one other thing, when we talk about the great running backs at the University of Miami, I know we had some unbelievable ones, but it really all starts with Chuck Foreman. Absolutely, former Minnesota Viking. He was actually at the spring game. Chuck Foreman was at the spring game.
Great guy, Chuck.
Bo Hansa, Mensa might set a touchdown interception ratio record because he doesn't turn the ball over much, which is surprising since his play style is sort of similar to Cam with the off-play skills. Mm-hmm. Also said Juan Manuel, that wise fool who said Ty Keys reminds a lot of him, Ricky Waters. And he said, how come Miami never recruited Ray Finkel?
Yeah, so they looked at him or her and then passed it up.
Wayne said USC Notre Dame should be included too. Yep. Yes. Crowd Cat Dad of 8 USC as well with Ronnie Lott, Munoz, and Palomalo. Yep.
Yes, quite the time. I mean, those guys also. You obviously had O.J. Simpson, like you said, just who was the running back? Marcus Allen, Ricky Bell at that time. There were some amazing running backs that they had.
One angry black man. If Mensa has that year, he wins the Heisman. Very true.
Yeah. I do think that Joe Burrow's year did include, when you said 4 touchdowns a game, I realized that included the college playoffs also.
Yeah. Juan Manuel, BYU is a trap game for Notre Dame. The air above sea level does tricks on your mind. Brett remembers BYU Ty Detmer in 1990.
Yes, I remember that first game of the season. Thank you, Juan Manuel.
Sergio said Arizona tea. No Arizona tea for me today. Just water today.
Just water and tacos, Gio, today.
Water and tacos today. Wayne said Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. Funny thing about this, I want to mention this as the last comment for the night. Proud Cat Dad of 8 said USC as well with Ronnie Lott, Munoz, and Palomalo. I always debate this back and forth with my father because my father is big time Ronnie Lott guy. And I don't blame my father for thinking that way because Ronnie Lott was so dedicated to the game. A little story time here that I'm not sure every football fan is aware of, but I'm sure most are. Ronnie Lott was so dedicated to the game of football that this guy had the doctors amputate a small part of his pinky for a hand injury during a season. Rather than sitting out for extended period of time, he had them amputate a piece of his pinky. This could be Googled, and you could see it in his Hall of Fame pictures, or even when he shows off his championship rings. He has a piece of his pinky missing from a season that he had it amputated. That is dedication to amputate a part of your body to continue playing. That's dedication. They don't make them like that anymore. It's incredible. But I always debate back and forth with my father. I always say Ed Reed, greatest safety of all time. He says Ronnie Lott. I don't think you could go wrong with either of those guys.
I think there's another guy that I think could be. It was better than Ronnie Lott, and he played across town at UCLA. Unfortunately, he had to retire early because he got with the ibuprofen. They gave him too much, and he sued the league. Kenny Easley, for those who remembered him, Kenny Easley was a beast. I'm sure Juan Manuel and others remember him. Kenny Easley, look him up if you don't. Just passed away, but the guy was freaking phenomenal, and I really liked him better than Ronnie Lott. He
really?
So look up Kenny Easley, and you'll learn about him. Couple of things, guys. So just to say, before we real quick, for whoever's on there, well, it says we have over 1,000 people, which is congratulations, Gio. Over 1,000 again on a Tuesday late night. So thank you for joining. But I just want to say we are at 96 subscribers. And people that come to the store all the time, a lot of my guys, they were in the warehouse. We've started 4 years. They like to call themselves the old warehouse crew. And they started in the warehouse before we moved to one store, then a bigger store, then a bigger store. So you have your chance at the beginning of the Caneswear TV podcast. We're only 96 subscribers. So the next 3 people, we're not giving anything, but you can always say you were one of the first 100 subscribers to the Caneswear TV podcast. So we're at 10,000. You'll say, I was one of the first 100. When we're at 25,000, I was one of the first 100. I mean, anybody in the first 1,000, it's going to be, they can always say that. But the first 100, Gio, we're at 96 right now. We're at 50,000. When we're at 100,000, you can say, hey, I was number 97. I was number 98. So 4 people can still get in the top 100, can always be saying, hey, we were in the top 100. If you already subscribed, those 96 lucky ones, hey, you can always say that too. And want to thank everybody for subscribing. Want to thank everybody for watching this show. Another few hundred comments there. Caneswear TV, like and subscribe. And Gio, before I finish, you go on now. We got a couple more comments.
Yes. We got here, let's see. Andy said, Wayne, night for you. Juan Manuel shared, Lightfoot reminds me a lot of Peter Boulware. 6'5", 235, 18 sacks in 96. He was the defensive end at FSU, linebacker for the Ravens. Yes, I do remember Peter Boulware. I am old enough to remember him. Sergio shared, Jason Taylor played with a catheter. That's even more impressive. That is true, actually.
Wow.
Johnny Jackson, BYU is a tough out. Yes, they are. Notre Dame will find out. Ronnie Lott was more physical, but Ed Reed created more turnovers. I agree. Andy said, bold prediction by Brett on our QB, 5K yards. Brett, bet 21. Wayne said, can you make shirts that say in the first 100?
Can you make sure that, yeah, we'll give it out to the first 100. That'd be great. First 100. I like that.
Johnny Jackson said, Ed Reed played special teams. Very true. He's a really good return man as well, Ed Reed.
Ed Reed, definitely probably the best safety in the history of the NFL. Ed Reed.
Sergio said, go Canes. Yep. Great cap to the night, actually. You're right, Sergio. Go Canes. With that said, like Brett said, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you are watching on that other channel that I've had for some time, I've marked it in the title as well. Subscribe to youtube.com/Caneswear. Subscribe, please. We want to continue getting the numbers up. The more you support, the more we can provide for you all, the more things are coming. So thank you, everyone, for your love and support. We will be back again on Thursday evening. Yes, we'll be on Thursday evening. I'll probably be back on again, too, with Michael Yo sometime this week, actually, between tomorrow or Thursday as well. So you'll see me again on there and anywhere else. And with all that said, make sure to shop at Caneswear, 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. Download the Caneswear app today on your Apple and Google Play app stores, depending on the mobile device you have. Exclusive offers and discounts on the app only. There was just one this past week. If you missed it, it sucks, but there will be more. Stay tuned and be ready.
One this week as well.
One this week as well, just like Brett said. With all that said, go Canes, and we'll be back again very, very soon.
Go Canes.